There we go. So we're back. New Normal Podcast. We missed Outrage Wednesday yesterday, so we wanted to postpone it to today so we can give you a full rundown of everything that you have been seeing down your timelines, from the Rodney Hintons to there's another story we're going to cover you may not be familiar with. What was the guy name? Shiloh Hendricks, which was
chick.
There's a chick?
Yeah.
Not a couple.
Couple?
Not the couple with the baby.
Oh, I ain't got that on.
Oh, we ain't gonna do that one?
Yeah, I ain't got that on now.
Okay, you got the white chick with the okay.
Well, we can still talk about it if you want.
I can pull it up and pull it send it. But yes, out so today's Thursday. We're gonna get into the Rodney Hinton situation. We know that has been trending online, and we're just gonna break it down because I was biased at first. You know, and if you're not familiar, this is the Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yeah.
Father that ran over the innocent deputy out of reaction to his son being unalived by the Cincinnati police.
Yeah.
You want to get into some footage, or you want?
Yeah, we can go watch.
Because they don't have the body cam of it.
I got a body cam on here too.
Okay, you got. I got.
So we finna play that first.
Other news tonight, Cincinnati police are sharing body camera video of the moments that led to an officer-involved shooting and killing of a suspect in East Price Hill.
And WLWT News 5's Danielle Dindak has been leading the way on this investigation for us. She's live right now, walking us through the video. Hi, Danielle.
Hi there, Mike. This video is very fast. We're talking about 6 seconds. 6 seconds from the time that officer got out of his vehicle and fired those shots. I do want to warn you, what you're about to watch could be hard to see.
He's got a gun! He's got a gun on your right! On your right!
In a matter of seconds. It all began with a stolen vehicle, a Kia from Edgewood, Kentucky. GPS tracking led the investigation here, a condo complex in East Price Hill. Officers arrived, and Chief Terry Thiegy explains what happened next.
All four individuals get out and start running.
On your right! On your right!
Some in different directions. So officers decide which individual they're going to pursue. One officer decides to pursue the individual who we now know had a firearm in his hand.
At some point, the person with the gun slips.
They heard the metal from the firearm hit the concrete. This individual gets up, still has the firearm in his hand, and continues to run through the dumpsters.
The officer who fired the shots was chasing another suspect before he made contact with the armed suspect.
The officer who did discharge his firearm said that when the individual came out between the dumpsters, he had the firearm in front of him. It was in like a bladed position, and it was pointed at the officer. And he felt threatened for his life, and that's why he discharged his firearm.
4 to 5 rounds were fired. The suspect was hit twice, given medical care right away, and died. Thiegy says this is the gun the suspect had. A semi-automatic with an extended magazine, with another magazine in his pocket.
Let me be very direct. We cannot allow individuals to flee from officers with a loaded firearm aimed at them. When this happens, the outcome is almost always tragic.
Police also told us that a stolen gun was found inside that stolen Kia. At this time, we still do not have the identity of the person who was shot and killed. All police could tell us is that he was approximately 18 years old. Reporting live in East Price Hill tonight, Danielle Dindak, WLWT News 5.
So, first and foremost, I'm going to say this. I don't know why the hell y'all still in a Kia.
They're the easiest car to steal. This one, I think, the number one.
I don't give a damn. What the fuck I'm gonna do with a Kia?
They want to. They want to joyride.
Bruh.
He was 18.
Yeah, 18.
They not going after big body Benzes, dog. You can't get in no Benz like you can get in a Kia.
I get it. I know they said they were using USB ports or some shit like that to break in them, but that shit crazy. A Kia? I can't pull up on no holes in no Kia and try to pull no holes.
They got a whole organization in Milwaukee called the Kia Boys.
I know.
So because it's the easiest car to steal is if you look like an easy lick, I'd rather rob you than a Brinks truck.
I get it. I understand what you're saying, but for robbing and joyriding the Kia, I don't even feel play that. Did you see the Kia?
Yeah, they not thinking like that though.
Yeah,
the fact that they already doing crime let you know they ain't.
They're not thinking too clear.
They're not thinking clear.
Oh, okay. So Did you watch the shooting?
Yeah.
So what you think about it? Do you think he was in his rights to shoot the boy or what?
Because it's always discretion, right?
Yeah.
Training plays a part. Also, experience plays a part. When you're adrenaline pumping and you're in these situations, you don't know what to expect. So but this is, and I truly believe this. This is training differs with different groups. They had it was a guy in Pelham, had a whole shootout with the police on the highway. It started from the house, ended up on the highway. Not one gunshot shot back at this man in the hip, this white guy. It was like a couple years ago. You done seen another situation where the white guy bucking up, putting hands, they trying to refrain and retain and do. So you can't say when these situations, all these situations cause me to pull my gun, but you got a whole shootout. Well, or even when these mass shootings, I mean, you just shot 13 people walking out, going to Burger King. Some are not even in handcuffs sometimes, or the handcuffs are being in the front.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? No beat, no bruising.
So are you saying it's biased?
Absolutely. See, and this is a controversy that I toggle with a lot, or I ain't gonna say, I guess you say struggle with, right? People, once you get into a certain bracket or a certain community, people tend to say, well, racism don't exist no more. I can live over here with white folks. I can work with white folks. I make this amount of money. Racism don't exist. You see this. You even have with this campaign, you had rich Democrats trying to talk to poor people.
Yeah, you did.
Don't even make sense.
You did. That was crazy. That's another reason they so tone deaf.
Rich Democrats who then invested in and then benefited off your ignorance,
right?
Telling you how to cope and do this and do that. That don't work. So with this training, police officers, specifically white ones, I believe, get a different type of instructions when it comes to dealing with certain communities. And this is an example of one, because we got too many situations where but what they'll do is pull the stats where they say white men, because of the population disparity, are unalive more than. Okay, now if it's certain situations where these white people are direct fire, shooting back, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
At this point, the gun ain't been shot yet. You even had some people they'll shoot if the person could be 12 feet away and they got a knife.
Yeah.
And they gonna still shoot the pistol. I got mace, I got strong pepper spray mace, I got tasers, batons, and it's more than one of me.
I get it. I think this the idea is deadly weapon to deadly weapon.
I can see that. And the police are trained not to you get out of there. You go home to your family by any means.
Yeah, so they're gonna, yeah, I believe that. I'm not gonna go apprehend nobody with a knife because I got a baton, a mace, or anything like that. I'm not gonna play that with nobody. If you got a knife and you could potentially stab me, slit my motherfucking throat, I'm not even gonna play that.
You got to get up on me, dog.
Right.
I got a taser. Tasers shoot 12 feet, dog.
But they only accurate up to 6, though.
Okay. I got a taser and mace simultaneously. You telling me that combo ain't gonna work?
Just pull both.
I'll tase you first, see if that work. Then I got the mace. They got trained, and that's what I'm saying. It's
so
training.
If I'm in right now, let's say I'm in a messed up mental space. You tase me, I knock it off because we didn't see that plenty of time. Now you gonna piss me off.
Mm-hmm.
And you finna mace me next and piss me off some more. And you think those are the proper steps you want to take? You just pissing me off more.
Okay, well, let's say we got ample time. I'm
shoot your ass and we be done.
I'm working overtime. How long do I have to disarm you or take you down? I could just wait and stand 15 feet away from you until you chill out. Until my backup get here.
You could, but then that takes resources away from something. We can go ahead and neutralize your ass and go and do something else.
Okay, but we got a police force. We got other people in that area. This one man, I don't need 30 units. Just send me 6. 6 of us got mace. 6 of us got tasers.
But it's easy to say, but we done seen plenty of reports that say most of our police departments are understaffed right now.
You got 6 people to go handle a serious situation where police is called. Mm-hmm. You got 6 to go handle this. You got 6.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to this, you might be right. I don't know. I just see a lot of reports that they understaffed. When it comes to this Rodney situation, Hinton situation, running over the retired police officer that was doing, like, I guess, crosswalk duty or something like that. I got to say this. I've been seeing the same sentiment with a lot of black people on my timeline. And the sentiment is, I don't give a damn who he hit, and I don't care that he didn't hit the guy that killed his son. They did so much stuff to niggas. This basically us getting even.
I've seen that. I've seen that narrative.
I've seen that a lot, and I just think, to me, that is very stupid. To have the idea, because I think this is what my stance is, to defend yourself, and then to play get back also means you kind of evil in a sense too, because it's like certain things I can't do. It ain't in me to do if another motherfucker do it to me. I just remove myself, or if I'm defending myself, now I got to go and take that stand. But to just do something because somebody do it to you, you got the same evilness in you for you to stoop to that level, because we done seen plenty of times where somebody done something to somebody where they like, well, I'm gonna let that go because that ain't in me to play like how you playing, so I'm gonna just remove myself. Now when I see that, it's like, you think y'all finna catch up to 400 years? 400. You think this dude finna go out here, run this dude over, and that's not even a drop in the bucket of 400 years. And then I keep seeing I just think it's crazy that the idea we getting back, we finna go to war, this is the start of something. Like, that man ain't go out here and be like, well, I'm doing this for my people. No, he's mad about his son. He hit the first policeman he probably seen after leaving the police station, seeing the body cam footage of his son getting gunned down or shot. Also, I don't understand why his son even got a gun and running with a gun from the police out here stealing kills, all of that. You obviously didn't raise your son right, because why the fuck is he out here doing this stupid ass shit? Why did he keep that type of company? There's a lot of facets of this. I believe I don't put my life in other people's hands. We already do that enough, but to put my life in the police hands, or we already say the police is supposed to be racist and all this stuff, they gun hold, shoot black men. It'd be crazy for me as a black man to run with a gun, but I think police shoot us willy-nilly, but now I'm giving him an even more justifiable reason to get out if I got a gun.
I can agree. And, we had this conversation offline, and that's why I say I would want to play the other video with the brother, because I'm gonna preface it. Okay. Because do you believe that enough is enough to some people to where, hey, all right, you don't know how my mental health is, because that's one thing we haven't assessed yet, is his mental health state. You don't know what this man dealing with. You don't know why this man feel he got to go out and steal this car. The dad and the son, but more so the dad. Okay. We don't know what his mental state is, but we got a video of the brother going into the courtroom, and it's a whole, chaotic situation. Let's play that, and I think this will kind of give a little bit more context to why we are getting those narratives.
I'll get my phone. Come on, man. Y'all cool. I just want my brother to see me. Take a breather. I just want my brother to see me. I just want my brother to see me. My brother can't see me. They did this shit before. That's not the way to do it. They did it before. I got a video of them messing with my brother and me before. I ain't do nothing. I just wanted my brother to see me. I ain't do nothing to him. That's my family. That's my family. Come on. Ray, please. Ray, please. Doing all that. Man, see me one-on-one, man. I got 40 motherfuckers here on my brother, man.
Now, with that video, he said some key things. He said they did this before.
We don't know what that means.
He said they been messing with my brother. We heard what he said. So again, when you look at a person that has been harassed or whatever the case may be, because what we like to do is discredit what black folks say just under the guise of this law, because law is subjective to a lot of people. At one point, you can do this to folks, you could do this, and it be okay. We're the only ones that just say, "Oh, we can't do that." Okay. "Oh, you can come take my child." Okay. Lay down, lay down, lay down, lay down. Yeah, we gonna do this. You ain't gonna do shit. At some point, certain people, it may not be galvanized to what we may have discussed, where this is going to set off a whole chain reaction. This may be that one. With him, it's enough, because he just said y'all done did this before. Why would
we don't even know what that means, though.
Again, we're saying they've been messing with us. Whether we don't know the direct context, but what he's saying, it can't be discredited. Said you did this before. Y'all been harassing us, doing whatever. We don't know the full context, but let's say that context was more than what he wanted to bear, because they say this happened the very next day, right? When he ran him over.
I think he's
he
left.
You got temporary insanity. Insanity, you can't say, man, well, you ain't do it within 30 minutes. You ain't crazy. You can't say that. You talking about? I'm watching I'm saying his mental state needs to be looked at.
Well, that's what the lawyer argued when he was
this could be temporary insanity.
Yeah.
But when you look at the treatment, because we got to show, you got the other video with the intimidation. Don't play it yet, but
I ain't got that one.
Okay, well, I can pull that one where they can show when he walking in there how these police officers are looking at him and not allowing, his family to come in. They coming in solidarity, to support the officer, which was innocent. I get it, but you just don't.
Hello.
We too early, dog. We too early, dog. Call back in a minute. Let's get back. We got to get it going.
All right.
So, I think, like I said, when a person loses their child, like you hear people say all the time, we can't tell you how to grieve.
We can't.
So he got out in an insane mindset, saw the first police officer, F this. I'm crazy.
Yeah.
To us, the logic ain't there because we can't explain it. Why would he?
I don't think you're supposed to explain crazy.
Well, I'm saying the people trying to say he this or that without understanding his mental state.
Well, like I said, I think most people losing a child, and then when you get the full context, just that you leave the police station and run somebody over. I think a lot of people would say, yeah, this man was just angry. He was just, you see your child get killed. And like I said, I ain't saying just angry and just writing it off. I'm just saying you was angry. You might have been mad. You might have been going through some type of insanity. Because like I said, just to see your son get killed is one thing. But then at the same time, like I said, I wouldn't want to see my son get gunned down either. But it's like, you running with a gun, son. You out here stealing and kill, son. Like you putting yourself where the police have to fuck with you. You're putting yourself in a position where police have to fuck with you. It would be crazy on my part because I would feel less of a father if I seen this same scenario and be like, damn, I raised my child to be out here stealing fucking kids. I raised my child to be doing this. And then, like I said, we can't, because parenting, parenting go either way. But I think if you're a good parent and you do what you're supposed to do and you teach your child right, they ain't gonna stray too far.
I get that, but again, I'm looking at, just like I said, I like to look at the middle ground and look at the double standards, because I can pull up a bunch of videos where we see these white boys out here walking around AR with the banana clip hanging off that bitch, and a police officer walk up just as polite. Hey, sir, how you doing? Why
Those
you got
the same circumstances though?
But we got a history of mass shootings. But we got a white man or whatever walking around with a shotgun, AR-15s, and ain't nobody making a sound. A black man can't go out there with an AR-15 with the dick off of it and it just be cool. We done seen these videos.
Well, actually, a black man did an experiment on YouTube where he was walking down the street, nobody bothered him with a gun.
Where was he? Where was he?
I don't know, Florida, I think.
Possibly.
But the same thing happened with some white boys fishing. I just watched the video, white boys fishing. They had a gun. Police came to bother them, messing with them. And he said, hey, y'all can't take my gun. This is our amendment right. We allowed to carry like this.
Yeah, but the aggression from the police is not the same when it comes to a black man with a gun.
Well, I just seen a video that says different. But like I said, it was Florida, so I don't know. But then at the same time, the circumstances is different. You getting caught because you're getting stolen car. You're running from it. You're fleeing. Now, if you ain't fleeing, you ain't doing it, I ain't suspect you of no crime, I'm gonna walk up to you in a different manner than you running away from me, because now I got to figure out what's going on. Then they said they found a stolen gun in the car as well. So, like I said, I'm trying to figure out what's really going on in the mind of these young kids to think this is cool. I get it, we got the kid boys and all that, but you as a parent, you supposed to be watching and say, hey, you don't do this. Hey, your friends, you can't hang out with them. Like, that's part of your job as a parent, is to try to hedge against the bullshit that your child's going to do. And like I said, I've been raised, and I'm born and raised Birmingham City. There's a lot of stuff that other niggas did that I knew that I couldn't get away with, or I knew that my father wasn't going to approve of, so I just didn't do it.
You're isolated, but for the most part, this story is too prevalent and too commonplace. Boys in the Hood came out in what year?
Probably 90s.
And it ain't no difference as to what we see now.
I'm confused on what you mean.
When you look at the environments in which these little boys come from, I seen these environments up close and personal in Huntsville when I was Big Brother, Big Sister, and Birmingham C4. These kids ain't got no resources or foundation or provision that you would have had. So when you say I can't understand it, I know.
No, I didn't say I can't understand it. I was saying that I wouldn't do something because I knew my father wouldn't approve of it.
Yeah, but if this little kid ain't got a daddy that he don't have an approval to seek, he's only going to go with the crowd.
I get, and I think that's a factor. But then I heard somebody say, when we had like World War I and World War II, when a lot of them daddies went overseas and then come back because they got killed, and the white women had to raise their children. Why was it still different from the white women having to raise their children during that time, and then how we do shit now?
White environments and black environments have always been different for the most part in America.
I get it, but the overarching thing is the father in the home.
Well, it's also resources.
Yeah.
Education. So if this father would have went to wherever, who's to say that this was a newborn baby or a 14-year-old boy?
Yeah.
So like I said, is resources, environments, a lot of things that play a role in, because this story with young black boys, and now you're seeing it with the girls, to where every fight that what they're doing with young black women, and is equivalent what they did with young black boys years ago. Most of the fights we share and send to each other is either all women, men and women, or it's always women in the mix of these fights. You see what I'm saying? So, and just the behavior where women thinking they can run a man's pockets. Yeah, that's programming, dog. You wouldn't have saw this 30 years ago. You wouldn't have saw groups of women thinking they finna run a man's pockets, dog. Yeah. So we got to ask, what is that? Why I don't see Mexican women doing that? Why I don't see Jewish women doing that? Why I don't see Middle Eastern women doing that with their men? That means it's hyper concentrated in a certain community. The same way we saw with the drug epidemic. From Honduras, Nicaragua, all the way to LA.
You know what and we had a conversation about this, and I'm gonna say this. I don't give a damn what they put in your community, because the only reason you would do that is you think I'm stupid enough to do it. I don't give a fuck if it was a gun right here, some drugs right here. I know the consequences. That don't mean I have to partake in those things. And we can say, well, it's poor, or this how they do stuff, or what. No, niggas did some stupid shit. Niggas put themselves in stupid predicaments, and niggas didn't understand, because it's crazy that we have times now where we have so many black people. The system. Well, how you know a system now? And if you know a system now, why do you keep falling into the traps of said system? That's what I don't get. That's really what I don't understand. If you keep system, racist, but you keep putting yourself in position where white folks get to dictate your life, and then you talking about, oh, well, they have unfair sentences on crack and cocaine. Yeah, but if you never sold the crack, you don't have to worry about the unfair sentences.
My thing is, you can't ignore this system, dog.
I ain't trying to. No, I'm not. I'm acknowledging the system.
And so you saying, why? So if we got this system that's in place and we know it,
and you know it, why do you put yourself in a position to where the system will fuck with you? Because I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna put it out there. I would say 95%, and now that's probably higher. But I'm gonna say 95% of the police that's fucking with niggas ain't just fucking with niggas just to fuck with niggas.
If we were to go on a field trip and we went to Inglenook, Illaton Village, Kingston, and then we go to the projects in Memphis, Baton Rouge, and I pull 19 folks and say, hey, break down white supremacy and what you think a system is. Do you think I would get the same answers from a you, me, or somebody else that don't come from them projects? You think they'll know what they're talking about?
No, but I don't think they know what they're talking about on most things.
Exactly. So those are the main victims of said system. Is lack of resources, education, food, medical treatment. It's a bunch of things that play, dog, that you talking to a people, it's like saying, hey, speak English. Well, I don't know how to read.
See, that's why I would disagree, because even when we have, people talking and we get on here and see podcasts and we see posts, the people that's in those places still say stuff about a system. They still say stuff about the system. And the thing is, when they talk about the system, I don't think they would be able to describe or all have the same definition. A definition would be different. They would be probably rambling over their words. They probably wouldn't even have a full understanding of context when they say white supremacy. And honestly, I don't think no matter if you grew up in that system, in that environment, or a better environment as a black person, I don't think for the most part, black people even know what the fuck going on when it comes to a system.
Most do, but most are just gonna go along with it because there's no other out.
Because I feel like this: assimilation and adaptation is the same thing, and people typically adapt to survive. It seems like when we have those conversations where people say, "Well, you should do X, Y, Z. You should understand these laws. You should understand how to move." Then it's like, "Oh, this coon behavior," or "You trying to tell us to be act more white." Nigga, I'm trying to tell you, this is a society that you live in. You're black. You're in America. You're not African American. Stop all the bullshit. You're American, and let's call it like it is. This is the system. This is how it works. These are the laws. These are the games you got to play. And then you got to put yourself in a predicament to where you don't have to interfere or come into contact with law enforcement.
You can't go to Kingston, Inglenook, projects in Memphis and Baton Rouge and tell them folks that, and it absorbs.
I want to try to tell them folks. Them folks. See, the thing
that's
is,
my point.
But hold on. So the thing is, if we having a conversation about this, and we talk about when you talking about a war of black people coming to fight or trying to revolt or rebel, most of the people that you would try to employ to do that will be from those places, right? Because a lot of black people stay in those type of places. Those people been gone generations ago. Those people been lost. Really. Those people been lost 60 years ago.
It's not that many Nat Turners and so many other.
No, you say if I go to the Baton Rouge,
if you go to impoverished areas, right, you're not going to be able to have certain conversations because
I agree,
because of certain resources and certain things not being in place.
So that's what I'm saying. The reason we can't have those conversations is because those people have been lost generations
ago.
ago.
So what you saying? They just a lost cause.
It is. And see, when we have these conversations, we always try to encompass all the black people. So you don't see why people worry about the trailer park trash. You never see them talking about, well, these poor white folks, and this is some real shit. We do live in it's a class warfare we're going through. And I don't think a lot of black people understand that we still as a group trying to save everybody. Everybody ain't gonna go. Just like when you prune the tree, you got to cut some of them limbs off for that motherfucking tree to grow. So some of ththese niggas that's in those areas, some of the niggas that's around here stealing kills, the niggas out here running from police with guns, them lost causes. I don't even know I don't even know why this is a big deal. And I get it because the daddy went out there and ran over a police officer. I understand that aspect. And you try to make it more of a race thing or fight the system or, black power, all that. Well, let's call it what it is. They be trying to make martyrs out of the stupidest shit in our community. George Floyd hides a kite on fucking fentanyl and shit like that. And then, like I said, when they post shit, they don't even post whole videos or even that situation. I'm like,
I agree.
What the hell? What are y'all doing? Y'all trying to incite some riots. Y'all trying to make black people mad because, like I constantly say, racism is a $1 billion industry. You asked me the other day. You said, why don't they try to put the drugs and the guns and the alcohol in other communities? And I told you, I said, other communities ain't going to allow that. That's what I told you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, the reason being, I told you, I said, black people pretty much as a whole are stupid. I said, we allow the generous shit, stupid shit. We allow Arabs, because I could go to where I stay at and the Shells and the Chevron, it's Arabs working both those gas stations. How the Arab be able to come over here, work the gas station, and have a liquor store attached to the gas station and sell it back to our community? But when you talk to them, they don't even drink or do any of that stuff.
Yeah, it's a whole mark. That's why I say when you look at a threat, You neutralize the threat.
Mm-hmm.
Get the big dog out the way. So they're not going to go to the Mexican, because the Mexican get the 5'7" at his tallest damn near. He ain't a threat. I'm going to get this buck that's 16, that's 6'6", 230 that can do me bad. I need to neutralize that.
See, I disagree.
So, and also let's look at origin.
Okay.
How was the police force? What was the origins of police officers?
I don't know, because they have
slave catchers. They got the evidence. Yes.
No, that's not.
Yes,
That's
it
not
is.
True. Not true.
Yes, pull it up.
We pull it up.
So you telling me the police force wasn't?
I'm finna.
It's not.
We're gonna make. Hold on. We're gonna do it, because I just had a call.
If y'all watching this, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel and comment. And if the police force is originated as slave catchers, that's what the police ain't just say. You know what? We gonna, because it had to evolve. These things, when you look at organizations such as the military, the police, these are things that evolve over time, and they're constantly recalibrated. They're constantly recalibrated. They had badges and all of that. Same shit, handcuffs
hold on.
and weaponry.
But the police force was not started as to be slave catchers. That is false. Actually, in England, they had police force over there, and so that's why we got the police force over here.
And well,
in Great Britain,
we ain't talking about Great Britain. We talking about America.
You asked where were the origins of the police
in America.
The origins in America was not to catch slaves, is because they was doing that over there, so they adopted that system.
They had slaves in Britain.
We ain't talking about the police. You talking about police were created to catch slaves. I'm telling you, that's not why the police was created in America.
Well, why was it?
The police was created to do what the police do now. It's patrol and protect the community. So when you're talking about what's going on, even if let's say this, if it's illegal for a slave to be out there, if it's illegal for a slave to be out there and you get caught by the police, that's part of the law at that time. They had slaves over there in Great Britain and stuff like that, and America adopted the same system. They wasn't because it was slave catching. You ain't see that in none of your texts or nothing like that. Say, oh, police was formed to catch slaves.
Yeah, they had these things called slave patrols. Emerge.
That's different than the police.
So do police patrol?
A slave patrol and a police. Now we go by definition. Now we ain't finna go by definition.
What's the root role of police? Policy.
Yeah, I see that. That's why I'm glad we on.
It's policy, right? Because I'm. What do I have to police? If everything working smooth, why do you need me over here?
Everything ain't working smooth because you still got the motherfucking Wild West, and the white boys still got to be hanged up and wanted. But we done seen plenty of that shit from the 1700s and all that shit.
Was slavery before the Wild West or after?
Yes, but you still have white people acting up. So you mean to tell me they were committing crime and going and breaking laws?
I'm not saying they weren't.
So okay, that's what I'm saying. You gotta have a police for them too.
But it's patrolling.
A slave patrol and a police have two different functions, two different things. Nah. That's why they don't say police. It says slave patrol. We always talk about definitions and words, and all of a sudden you don't want to go by definitionally. That's what I'm telling you. The white boys, even doing slavery, when they stealing and raping and doing all that stuff, who gonna go get them? Who gonna go get them? Listen. Okay, exactly.
Police is originated from slave patrol in 1829. What we was doing in 1829 said in America. What was going on in 1829 over here to where police would be needed? What?
I just told you.
Was slavery still going on in 1829?
Yes. But I just told you.
So who would have been the suspects if everything else was in order? Because white folks were doing what? What was they doing in 1829? The criminals. What type of crime were they committing? To where a heavy police presence would be needed. What would they be doing?
Stealing.
From who?
Other slave owners.
All right, that's another conversation for another day.
Exactly.
Because that's not true. But
so you know for a fact they weren't stealing, they weren't raping.
I'm talking about the origin of police.
They weren't killing other white folks.
I'm talking about the origin of police.
That's what I'm telling you. The origin of police.
The origin of police.
You can look it up. The origin of police. They adopted.
It's to protect corporate policy and property, dog. It's not to protect and serve you.
You said the origin. Let's keep it what you said.
The origin, yes.
Where did the police originate from?
In England, 1829.
Okay.
But it came over here.
Right.
Where are our colonizers from that was in America? What land?
Where they said it from?
Britain. So it's a no-brainer to come over here.
So
to bring it over here.
So you asked me why did they form? That's not how they formed. They brought a system they already fucking had. I don't know why this is common fucking sense. You already got a system. You bring it over here. That's why they have slave patrol and they have police. They're not the same thing. They've done extensive research on this shit. Because I was like, why?
So you saying slave patrol and police operate no similar uniforms, no similar training, no similar makeup.
We can look it up.
Well, like I said, that's another conversation.
Okay,
but what I'm saying is, in this land, what we tend to do is shun how the police interact with different groups, or try to discredit it or dumb it down to where it say, well, this is not true. If you look at the numbers, okay, we can look at the numbers. However, when you look at certain scenarios, black men and now women get a whole different experience from really nothing. I'm going in your car, illegal search and seizure. Where in New York, they could just stop and frisk you.
That's old now.
I mean, I'm saying it's old, but I'm just saying the police going into that. But
and I would agree on you because that was disproportionately affecting black people. And
they got cases. They got cases up there. So if I got the cases that would say, well, damn, per the capita and per the population, it's way heavier over here.
I agree with you.
So that means it's intentional. If we make some money, we make 1,000, and man, how much money you made? We supposed to be 50-50. Man, I made 1,500, and you say, well, man, I only made 300 this week. I don't know how you made 300 and I made 15.
But
or was I stealing?
Hold on, but let me tell you something. Let's keep it clear.
Okay.
So when you ask me about the origins,
that's another conversation.
I'm finna clear it up. I'm finna say this. When you ask me about the origins, I want to make sure that when we give stuff, it's factually, and I've done plenty of research. So when you talk about that, I don't want people to be like, oh, racist. I don't believe racism. No, I agree with Chris. There are things that we can look at. All through history, they had a whole slave cotton industry, all that. So I'm not saying that, but like I said, I just want to make sure when I say stuff, it be factual on why we got someone. So when you ask me about the origins of police, I already know where the origins of police come from. So I'm just preface that statement.
I'm just looking at the behavior. When you go to the Civil Rights Museum, show me where they putting dogs and fire hoses on anybody else but black folks. Show me.
Well, they got gas chambers for Jews, and I'm gonna
show me where the police are using dogs and water hoses, which are super high pressure on any other race than black folks. And then we'll have a conversation.
Let me ask you. This is what I'm asking you. Are you saying you want to see something equivalent? Because if I give you something,
no, I said police using German shepherds and hose pipes on anybody else than black folks. That's what I'm talking about.
So let me ask you a question again. If I show you something equivalent,
nope, I said show me German shepherds and hose pipes. I said it. That's what I want. If I say I want steak and chicken, don't bring me shrimp and some octopus.
You know the reason I'm asking you that?
I said show me where the police in mass.
I heard
because we can pull it up.
We can
show me the other groups of people where they're using German shepherds and fire hoses on folks.
I'm gonna say
can't show it.
I'm finna. You want me to tell you what I'm finna say?
Can you show it?
No, I just told you.
Why?
Because that's the tactic they use on niggas. They use other tactics on other people. That's just a nigga. That's a nigga tactic. So I like if you talking about dogs, that's what they wanted to use on the niggas. They use the gas chambers on the Jews. We stay in Alabama. That's an Indian name. I ain't seen a motherfucking I ain't seen a motherfucking Indian in forever.
Even like say
so I'm saying like
so when we go back and look at facts, it's already been dispelled that we ain't come over here on no motherfucking ships.
How?
Do you know how long it would take to cross the Africa to get to America with food and clean water? Enough for them to even still work. You know how long that voyage would be? You know how many people they said was on these ships?
It wouldn't take long.
You know how many people they said was on these ships, dog?
They had whole breeding forms.
Come on, dog. We were already here.
Oh no.
We was already here, dog.
I don't know.
We was already here.
I hear people make that.
It's already here, man.
I hear niggas
so that's why I say when we look at facts and all this, it's easy to go and say, well, this was meant taught.
So it's factual,
and all of this and all of this.
Black people see already?
Yes.
Or was that Native American?
We're native. We're indigenous.
So you're not from Africa.
The cradle of civilization it comes from Africa, but we were already in America. They already had the person who showed Christopher Columbus around. I forgot his name. Christmas Addicts.
So that wasn't my question. I said, so are you African or are you a Native American?
I don't subscribe. That don't got shit to do with me. I'm saying we was already here.
And this is why I'm asking that. Because I will argue that it's different people. I believe that we came from Africa. I think genetically we are different in Africa, and they always say Africa is the most genetically diverse place on the planet. Also, they could have, and this is just my opinion, they could have just after slavery just got rid of niggas and sent us back to Africa and shit like that. They could have, because we got, like I said, we Mississippi is named after Indian, Alabama's name is an Indian name. So we ride through all these cities with Indians name, but we don't even see no motherfucking Indians. They got their ass up out of here. They did the tactic they used on Indians was Trail of Tears. They gave them measles and mumps and shit like that. It took all this shit around. So when you ask me about hose pipes and dogs, that's a tactic they used on niggas. So we didn't get blankets and get shit and made us move around and shit like that. We didn't get gas chambers. So that's what I'm saying. When you talk about that part, we can talk about it's a lot of people that has been done fucked up. And now I'm just gonna say I'm a Holocaust denier.
That's a conversation for another time. But I'm saying bio warfare has been used on black folks the same way it's been used on.
But I'm just saying.
When you talking about gas chamber and the measles, that's biological warfare.
Yeah, but I'm saying you asked me about dogs and hoses, and I said that could have just been a tactic in that time for niggas. That's all I said.
That's another conversation. What I'm saying is what we try to do is act as if these situations can just be avoided at mass. We could just train them up and tell them to do this, and your life will be better. Just don't do that. My dad was over here. These people ain't got that, dog.
You talking about the people in the hoods? You talking about
a lot of people,
low impoverished societies.
A nice sized portion of the black community. I'm speaking just for black folks.
Yeah,
a nice portion of the black community don't have the resources and the support and everything else needed to have that conversation with.
Mm-hmm.
So again, with Rodney Hinton, his mind state, like I said, when you look at what people saying about it, because like I said, I see the difference, and I had a biased opinion at first until I said, well, he running with the gun, and this is knowing your environment, dog. You know, you running with the gun, you put yourself at risk. However, with this guy, they're using these intimidation tactics. Okay, he ran over an innocent person. So what you said with people like looking at, well, we're just trying to even the score, it don't really matter. And that's really what my bigger point was, because if I'm a part of a frat or whatever, and it comes out that, hey, 12 of your, brothers or whatever, or a small percentage of your brothers over here doing heinous things to women and children, and I do like this, I'm complicit.
I agree.
So now ain't no innocence, because I did like this while you was over here doing that to that child.
I agree.
When that police officer killed Tamir Rice, 7 years old, and I did like this, I was complicit. So now it don't matter if I got the right man or I didn't. All of y'all the right men in some people mind.
Yeah.
All of y'all, because Tamir Rice, was Tamir Rice the right little boy? No.
In that moment.
No, he had a toy gun.
Well, they said it looked like a real gun.
Nah.
I don't know.
No.
That's what they said. And I'm gonna tell you,
white folks said Jesus is white.
He could.
That's true too, ain't it?
He could be.
In the land of Africa, that's true too, ain't it? A pale white man could be in that area.
But then you had the Arab. They say he Arab. So I don't know.
Come on, man. We can't go by what this every time is. Well, they say this. Well, they said this.
Well, they say a lot, because
we go with that too much.
Okay, so let me
white man's word is law. I don't subscribe to that.
I don't either. But at the same time, it's kind of hard to say you don't subscribe to something, and then we'll go to our parents will put us in 12 years of high school, elementary, middle school, high school, when then you go to another college where you pay all this money, and all the curriculum come pretty much from white people, and they tell your ass what you gonna motherfucking learn, and you've been indoctrinated. So it's cool to say it on one minute. I studied this, and they told us a lot. Well, nigga, what about that's a 0.5% of shit you learn that might have been a lot. What about the other 99.9% of shit they done taught your ass throughout all of these years? So like I said, it's cool when we say that shit. Yeah, of course there are lies out there. I'm not arguing any of that.
I didn't get the correlation with the parents. I didn't get it, because that's on the parents to do that. If parents are intentionally sending their kids to these schools, you're subjected to what they're gonna teach them.
Right.
But you got a different type of parents, and a lot of time when I see these miracle scholars, well, they graduated at 14, well, they graduated at 16, well, they got their master's at 22. The number one thing in common that I hear when it's black, we did homeschool. Almost every time homeschool is used. And that's a choice too.
Homeschool or private school, yeah.
Homeschool or private school. So if the parents sending these kids over here to public school or whatever the case to be subjected to this curriculum, that's on the parents. But it's always a choice. We do got a choice.
But hold on. The reason I brought up the parents, because it's hard for us to sit here and say that, and that was my point I was getting to. It's hard for us to say about the stuff that we learned that's a lie when you've already been indoctrinated for your parents, to you, to your kids. Like, this shit is, like I say, we don't even know if we coming or going. We don't even know our motherfucking mouth to our ass at this point.
I think some people do. Like I said, you got people who wrote books. I can't think of the Miseducation of the Negro. Whole book, Miseducation of the Negro, how to make a Negro slave or Christian. You got all this information that is present, but certain people.
And then even with those books, how do we know that the person that wrote those books ain't just trying to write a narrative just to go against the white man?
See, that's why I don't look at, well, what's in his back pocket, the small little pocket. I don't do that shit. When they put out this information, I look at but I look at his history.
Okay.
When I look at our scholars, our blacks, the Khalid Muhammad's, the Farrakhan's, the Garveyites, and all of these people underneath, I look at the track record. The track record don't show I got some in my back pocket that I'm just doing some bullshit. This white man that then went all over the earth to where we got damn near one rhino left. We got one koala bear left.
You're right.
We got two goddamn silver giraffes over here left. That means I didn't kill so much. I didn't kill so many things and poached and all this. Oh, my evil knows no bounds.
I've seen some shit yesterday. Did I see that shit with that white lady got the Uber? They go get that possum off the gate.
Nah, you probably seen the whole thing. You be sending me so much shit, dog.
I was like, man, what I said? And then my mind's like, why people just be fucking with shit?
Why am I in Africa killing lions? Why?
But then, hold on. That's crazy because, they call it a sport. To hang on your wall. Why would you just want to kill a lion and hang the head on the wall?
And we had to come and say it's the nature of things.
Yeah.
Your nature is going to show in your daily behavior, dog.
And that's part of the reason I keep telling you, for you to say you trying to make up on something. It ain't even in our nature to be thinking about biochemical shit, to be just thinking about killing something and hanging it on the wall. It ain't no catching up to a group of people that we ain't even close in ideology of thinking. We don't even think nothing like that. These are people that now we're still seeing women get rolled into hospitals because a dog is stuck inside of her.
Yeah.
We can hear stories right now.
Yeah.
Right now, if it say white lady gets arrested, if it say woman gets arrested for having sex with a dog, we're gonna say white lady, right?
Yeah.
Because it's certain things that we do. Like, and then I don't think our shit is still normal.
What you mean?
Like, if you kill somebody.
Are you talking about like killing each other?
Yeah, yeah. And I ain't saying it's normal to kill, but I'm saying that's part of human nature. Fucking an animal.
Yeah, I think
what I'm saying. Like it's I think every race is someone gonna kill, some gonna do that. But it get to the point where you like, what the fuck these people got going over here?
I want to see what T. We're gonna get you the call back in.
We
was in the middle of building it up. What do you say? Put that coming up there. See, I can't see it. I ain't got my specs on my prescribed specs.
This will say Carter G. Woodson.
That's it. Yeah.
Woodson wrote The Miseducation of the
That's
Negro.
it. Carter G. Woodson. So, like I said, when you have all of these,
the niggas are the Indians. Ain't no trail of tears. That's a lie.
Yeah, see, like I said, they can put this stuff out.
Chris is on the right path, but the slave patrol actually became the police department. I mean, the sheriff's department.
Yeah. So, like I said, we saying this, that all of this stuff coincide with just the trends, the trends. The presence, the uniforms. Yeah. You go back to look at the slave catcher uniform, it's damn like the police. They had cars, they had stage, well, they had horses then. Then it evolved to cars. They had handcuffs or whatever they need to apprehend.
Yeah, but
you got freelance bounty hunters.
Yeah.
Which is an extension of the police department.
Yeah.
But again, going back to getting out of the mindset.
Now, hold on. Let's say this stuff. Yeah. Now, the origin could be one thing, but the function could change.
Well, let's look at Planned Parenthood. Margaret Sanger. We got Margaret Sanger on audio, meaning with people talking about the exact agenda, but we know they provide other medical services now, don't they?
Yeah.
But the origin was what?
And to kill niggas.
Exactly. So
that's what I'm saying. And that's still the thing. They got other shit, right? So, and that's what when we talk about a revolt or a rebel, they already gave us the hint how you do this shit. That's why in Mississippi burning, they cut the nigga dick off. That's why they put abortion clinics in black neighborhoods and walking distance to brown neighborhoods. Like if you could look at the Planned Parenthood map right now, and most of all of your abortion clinics are going to be in a black neighborhood or walking distance to a Hispanic neighborhood.
So let's look at the psychology of dependency, right? If you've been dependent on me, from integration up until the mid 70s, late 80s to 90s. If you've been dependent on me for all of this, I done integrated you. How you come to my school now? You can eat in the same room as I can now. The mindset of the less dominant in that area is gonna say, well, okay, they cool now. So if I put this in the community or that, they gonna take advantage because in their mind, well, they ain't lying to me, but they doing something good. They done integrated us now, so we can do what they do. It's a access and it's the education part, dog.
I get it, but that kind of, for me, it kind of hard. Just like you talk about the history, you look at the history, it'll be kind of hard for you to slap me 45 times and then say you can come to my school.
I mean, how many people you know got the jab? Lots.
Personally, I know
you got jobs that mandated it.
I know 3 people that got it, but I know a lot of people that didn't get it. You ain't get it. I ain't get it. My wife ain't get it. None of my kids got it. Vic didn't get it. We're
not saying that you know personally. I'm just saying that you know from the story.
A lot of people said it was getting
and they come back.
Yeah.
And now they like, well, damn, you lied to me.
Yeah.
Because again, psychology and American, just the whole system itself, down from the science to the medical to everything. Yeah. Is so diabolical that you wouldn't suspect them lying to you.
See,
I'm gonna sell it to you.
That's the thing about it. I would think different because these are people that are trying to maintain power. You don't maintain power by telling the truth.
Well, I maintain power by taking. Well, if you don't, because let's say a lot of hospitals, a lot of women in the nursing field.
That's the people that I know that had
to get. So if you don't get it, fire your ass.
Right.
Or you're gonna lose your license, or whatever the case may be. So if I take away your resource, I almost force you to do what the fuck I say.
Yeah.
The same way we ain't get into the story about, and I went and looked a little deeper. Well, they was talking about the insurance companies and the pharmaceutical companies giving $40,000 kickbacks to the physicians for every fully vaccinated patient.
Yeah.
That they had
from the COVID shit.
Yeah, and other things as well, not just C-19.
Like I said, I always make a joke of this. Why the fuck I got to get a vaccine to make your vaccine work better?
That's what I'm saying. So
that shit was stupid. And like I said, that go back to my original point. If I slap you 75 times and then I say you come to my school, that'll be done. So I didn't understand why niggas was arguing with me. Like black people was arguing with me in Alabama, like 2 hours away from this bitch. We didn't have a what?
What you mean?
What you been saying? Well, we had down 2 hours away for in Alabama that involves a vaccine.
What you mean?
Tuskegee.
Oh, Tuskegee. Facts. Yeah.
So I'm like, y'all, we in Alabama. Nigga, I remember in high school, and I ain't gonna say the high school name, they was having STD vans outside the high school because they was still having syphilis outbreaks like a fool.
Yeah.
We still seeing the results of the syphilis outbreak and what they was doing to men and experimenting on black people in Tuskegee to this day.
That is facts. And that's why I would say this is all education based. So if you telling me, because I want to say, I'm gonna have to look into that. For the public schools you had, if you was in a certain area, then you have to enroll your kid at some point. Did they have something like that into like the school system?
I think you go to jail. Like if you don't enroll them, you go to jail.
Yeah, it was something like that. So you forcing my hand now.
Yeah.
Just
and then even this is even more fucked up about the school system, the zoning shit.
Zoning. Gardendale doing it right now. Rezoning.
So like that's why I say like I racism is real because I worked at Spring Park in 2011. Right. Let me tell you the fucked up shit they did. Right. And I'm gonna say it's fucked up, but then it ain't. And I'm gonna tell you why. And this is a problem. This is just me. This is from my experience. So I was going to a school that was curriculum A1, went to another school that curriculum was not up to par.
Mm-hmm.
So then we got a lot of these black kids that are moving over the mountain trying to go to Spain Park. Of course, your parents want a better life for you. Mm-hmm. They come to the school and the curriculum is just so much faster. They not used to this shit. Mm-hmm. So they were driving and they was upset because Spain Park is a blue ribbon school. They was upset that they was driving the grade point average down because they couldn't keep up with the curriculum. Now, I get it. You like, hey, this is a school, we prestigious. This is what we do over here. You know, y'all coming over here and y'all ain't up to par and shit, right? But then it's like, when do you give people a chance to better themselves? Yeah, that's why I'm at too. Because like, of course, you might have a little rough spot for a little minute, but maybe those same black kids will be like, well, Spain Park is a good school. Let's keep it this same credentials. Now I'm gonna get my son from a young age. That when I had kids from a young age, he could just go to attend Spain Park, Hoover High School, schools his whole life through. So now the next generation, is a little bit better. But then I gotta wait so many years, to get that back. But then they was doing rezoning shit, right? So it was a apartment complex that was in this that a lot of black people was moving to. So what they did, they rezoned. It was Hoover and Spain Park, and it was like these apartment complexes they were trying to annex out. So if you went there, you couldn't go to Hoover.
Yeah,
Spain
I
Park.
remember. Yeah, facts,
and so when they did that, the next thing they did, they took the buses away. So now they rezoned and they took the buses away. So when I'm walking outside at Spain Park, this is a affluent school. I'm seeing kids get out of BMWs, Mercedes. I ain't talking about no old shit. I'm talking about this the new one.
Yeah.
Mercedes, Benz. I'm seeing the kids, the white boys ride up in Black Widow trucks. Yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, it's different over here.
It's different. Now, to get back on topic, and we'll get to what's the name, Shallow.
Yeah.
Do you feel you said you think he justified for doing what he doing? Even though this was the wrong guy, this wasn't the actual person that unalived his child. Do you feel he's justified in doing what he's doing?
I can't say shit. I can't say if he's justified or not. Hold on 1 second, guys. Hold on.
We got to get some juice. But yeah, like I said, this whole yo, I can hear me. I can, yeah. Let me know in the chat if y'all can hear us okay. How we sound? Yeah, you good. All right, so we're back. But like I said, it's
Let me tell you if I think he's justified or not.
What you think?
Do I think he's justified? It's hard for me to say, and I'm just gonna take the parent approach. You know what I'm saying? Like,
if this was your son, with the right cop matter, the person who did it, or would you just want blood right then and there? Because you in a temporary state of this anguish is very intense. So you done lost your mind temporarily.
Yeah, because I could just see that bad. Like I said, I could just think of me just getting that news, driving, and then just see the uniform and just black the fuck out. Not even on it. I see the face. I just see the uniform, what it stands for. Like I could just go off. Just, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I ran you over. It wasn't no thought, no nothing. I just ran you over because I seen the uniform, what it stands for. This police department killed my son. You know, I will feel away. Now, like I said, you know, whole context matters in this situation, but at the same time, like, I can't say if he's justified or not, because like I said, he could be just distraught You don't know how close he was with his son getting killed. Even if, maybe he was troubled. Like, I know a lot of people still love their children, no matter how troubled they are.
Unconditional.
So it's for me to, like I said, I can understand, how you put yourself in a situation to get killed. But at the same time, I don't want my son getting killed at all. I don't care how bad they is or, what law they break in. I don't even, if they murdered 40 motherfuckers, I still don't want them to get the electric chair. You feel what I'm saying? And I understand if they got it, it's part of it, but it's like, dang, like, that's still my baby.
And we'll move on because this the caveat to it. Let's say it was the right officer. You still have some people saying, well, two wrongs don't make a right, or they don't believe in an eye for an eye. So even if it was the right officer, people would still say, well, you shouldn't have did that because now your son dead and you in jail. They'll say, well, two wrongs don't make a right. They'll still find an issue with that if it was the right officer.
Yeah, I don't think two wrongs make a right, but at the same time, I do know there are situations where somebody do something to you and you just play get back. I remember Boosie saying in the song, said, I got my heart broke at 14. So every bitch after that was straight payback. Mm-hmm. So I think, we see stories about women catching AIDS, like in New York, the lady called them AIDS and just ran here spreading it to all the other people because that was her get back. So necessarily when stuff happened to people, it ain't gotta be to that particular person. You just want some get back. You just trying not to hurt no more. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think a lot of people end up doing stuff to other people that ain't got nothing to do with the situation that you hurt from.
Gotcha. So, like I said, we're talking racism to a degree. We got into the Rodney Hinton situation. Now we're gonna get into what's her name, Shiloh?
Yeah, Shiloh Hendricks.
Shiloh Hendricks, which is a white woman. Let's play the video and y'all can kind of formulate your own opinions.
You're a child?
What if he acts like one? It's gonna.
Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child 5-year-old the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act.
That's what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
That's a hate speech, and you can be recorded for that.
I don't give a shit.
Fuck off. Okay, we'll see about that. What the internet has.
So I'm gonna say this: Shiloh Hendricks has made, last time I checked, was over $600,000 on the GoFundMe.
600,000
for calling a 5-year-old black boy a nigga.
But she didn't get arrested. So what would the resources be need?
Well,
what would be the need for the resources?
Let me look it up because I think she said she was trying to relocate and move and all of this because of all the backlash and stuff that she was having. Hold on. I'm gonna read it for y'all right now. Shiloh Hendricks GoFundMe. It says Shiloh created a fundraiser titled "Help Me Protect My Family" on GoFundMe, saying her address and personal details have been leaked, and that excuse me, and that she need her children leaked, and she and her children have received threats. Within days, the fundraiser has collected more than 700,000 in donations. So it's more than double the donations that a fundraiser for the child raised before it closed. I guess the child that got caught with a nigga, she raised double more than he made. The incident has ignited debates about racism, free speech, online harassment, and how crowdfunding sites are used in the wake of controversial incidents.
So she ain't got no criminal charges. So isn't the police there to protect you and your family? Why would you need money from patrons?
Well, she said she want to move.
But
I don't know if that's gonna stop. I don't know if that's gonna stop her from getting her shit leaked, but she said she want to move.
But they shut down Carmelo Anthony's.
They did.
You see, so that's why I say when we talk about racism, man, this the part that kind of goes back to the Rodney Hinton situation. I'm actually pro-racism. I'm gonna tell you why I say that. Because it's not racism, it's
natural.
It's geneticism in a sense. Lions and hyenas ain't gonna never sit at a table and eat together. That's a fact. They're forever enemies. And when you look at the animal kingdom, and I've been watching Animal Planet since I was a little boy, I've always been infatuated with the hierarchy and the way they hunt, the way they, interact with one another. When you look at what people do to protect their own and their best interests, it's almost instinctual to do so. If you think somebody else supposed to come and give you this or have mercy on you and do this and all of that, when you're actually a threat to their existence, you're kind of naive and foolish. As we don't see no other parts of the earth or the animal kingdom operate in this fashion. Now you have a certain type of harmony where that motherfucking rhino coming through here, lions know to get the hell out the way. That elephant that weigh 5,000 pounds, lions know they know to get out the way. Oh, this hyena or this other, what's the wild dog or whatever.
Yeah.
Hey man, you eat what I eat. Hey, nah, get him out of here.
Yeah.
Break his back, send him on his way. And you see how they make examples. They won't even kill the animal all the way. They gonna injure it back and walk around it and do it in front of the pack.
Yeah,
because the pack too scared. You see what I'm saying? So we look at racism all wrong. It is 100% in your best interest to protect your family by however you see fit. We're the only ones that submit to every law that they put out and follow it to a T. That's why when we had the conversation, show me the black organizations that go into white homes and say, hey, I don't like how you taking care of your baby. We're going to take it to our facility and hold it for 30 days. Hey, I don't like the way you doing that. We're going to take this away from you because you ain't filed your taxes yet. You ain't did this yet. You don't have black organizations that are ran, operated, and maintained by solely black people that go into other communities that do what white people do to other races.
See, I my pushback on that was, one, I don't think niggas give a fuck about this shit.
Well, we're not talking about what they. We just saying you don't see it.
You don't see it. And two, I don't think you will ever see that if you're thinking about America being systematically in the advantage of white people. That wouldn't make sense for that to happen in America. If you think there are systems in place and system of white supremacy and white privilege is a thing, that just wouldn't make sense for black people to even be able or allowed to make a system like that.
I think it's a certain
because hold on, just look what they're doing in South Africa now. They taking the white folks' land over there. Now they taking the white folks' land. Yeah. The president's over there calling for genocide, killing white babies, and a whole bunch of stuff over there now. So it depends on who running the society and who running the land. Because I just think it's a pendulum. I think that's what we fit. That's what we see. And now I think we're starting to see where more black people are more vocal, or allowed to be more racist and stuff like that. But it's a $1 billion industry. I think it's being pushed this way to keep us separated. I think a lot of this is a globalist agenda, and I do think you got to think about like even integration. Like I hear a lot of people that was around when Martin Luther King was around, they was like, Martin Luther King was the only nigga really pushing for integration. Most of the black people that have businesses and bus companies and stuff like that, we already knew what was gonna come down the pipeline if you integrated. Mm-hmm. And it's sad to say that the only reason that you fuck with me because I'm black is because I'm black, and you ain't got no choice but to fuck with me now. But soon as if we integrate, you gonna think what the saying is, you think white ice is cold.
Yeah.
And that's messed up, and that's why black businesses struggle so hard. And I will also advise you, if you are a black-owned business, don't promote yourself as a black-owned business. But that's neither here nor there. But like I said, it's hard for people to just depend on the community, because we still have this idea that you don't want to see nobody doing better than you. And I don't even think, and a lot of people say, well, that's based in slavery, when they had people, house niggas and field niggas, and they gave this slave special treatment and all. I don't think it's that. I think when we talk about even genetics, I think genetically, if you look it up, Africa is the most genetically diverse place in the world. I think we are mixed up and mingled up so much, we don't even know what tribes we come from, because even in Africa, certain tribes don't fuck with each other. That's how a lot of us got in the slave trade and got sent over here. Tribes were warned. People was coming over there selling herbs and spices or whatever, all this shit. And then that tribe that had you enslaved, they sent your ass over here to America. That's factual. So when we had these conversations, I think a lot of us, the reason why we have that type of animosity to each other, I think a lot of us don't even know that we come from Sudan, or we come from Ethiopia, you know what I'm saying? We come from North Africa, South Africa. So I think that's the bigger issue, more so than being programmed during slavery to not like a nigga because they light skinned, they're a house nigga, or they're a field nigga, or this nigga, he's the mandingo that be fighting everybody, So
well, West End, go to his first comment. He said, "Bring them all."
Yeah, I asked him what he gonna call in.
Oh, okay. And what he said after that? I'm gonna start bringing my spectacles. But with the shallow, when I looked at the video, right?
I'm finna call him. Go ahead.
Now, when I looked at the video, What was the parents of the black child that she said that to? I didn't, because it's when you listen to the guy, it sounds like he from like Middle Eastern or something like that. It don't sound.
He sound like an African to me.
Okay, but what was the parents of the child that she was speaking to?
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna say something that comes out.
All right, go ahead.
Because I was gonna do this shit.
Yeah.
To me. Thank you for calling the New Normal Podcast. Who do we have on the phone?
Oh man, you know it's me, Big Dog, E-Dog. What's happening?
What's good, bro?
Well, you know I gotta get in on that, y'all. You need to put context on that African slavery thing, first of all.
Go ahead.
Yes, Africans did sell other Africans, but they ain't have no idea of what slavery was for a European. For your children.
Okay, let's stop right there. Before you go. So since you don't have an idea and this person does not look like you, is that still smart to sell somebody to somebody else that don't have the same customs?
No, because you thinking that this is how it works everywhere.
That's what I'm saying. But you know this person
that's
don't look
how
like
you do it. We talking about a more primitive person. But this is how we did it. So we think this is how it go everywhere. You see what I'm saying?
Ignorant to the culture, because that's not our nature.
But I'm saying, if you never, let's say you see a white person for the first time, why would you think that that's how it's done? If you now seeing somebody that don't even look like you, hair ain't like you, why would you think just because we do it over here? Now I see somebody that's genetically different than me. So that got to think in my mind, hey, they might do stuff a little different where they from. And then you
come in, you bartering with me. You trading the same way I trade. You want my goods and I got your goods. So why would I not think that this is how everybody do it? So you looking at it from a more looking back and a more broad, wider perspective of knowing how evil the world is and how evil different people are. You're not looking at it in the point where, hey, we thinking that this is how the way we live is how everybody lives, even though they different. That's the reason why I welcome you in to trade with me.
That's different too, because we got stories like Shaka Zulu that never let Africans in. We had a Queen Zinga that was over there that never let white people in. So a lot of African tribes, if you study it, did not accept white people because they look different, and they was already thinking that they was evil because they look different already. So it might be I think
right. Then what's the smart one?
Okay, so hold on.
Wait a minute. Two things can be true at one time.
Okay, you're right.
Two things can be true at one time.
Yeah. Right. So hold on. With that being said, what would be a smarter way to approach that? Would it be smarter to just think, oh, we do this like this, or somebody that just come over here that don't look shit like me? I'm talking to this person. They train me with different shit. They talk different language. They fuck different. They hair different. They burning from the goddamn sun. All this shit is just different about this motherfucker. What would be just rationalize? Not because you think I'm looking hindsight of 2020. Just rationalize this person that don't. Because they don't dress like me, they got different type of weapons than me, they got all this shit that's different than me. What would just be the smart thing to think?
Listen, hold on. That ain't just no simple answer what you want.
Okay, go ahead.
You gotta think about what slavery was then. Slavery made them stronger because after you did your 7 years or however long it was
right,
of servitude, you assimilated. So, and when you assimilated, that made my tribe stronger because I grew. So I would have to imagine, why would an African think that you would keep this person down forever and not allow them to assimilate to make your tribe stronger, white man?
Well, then I got to ask this too. If we doing slavery the same way, if I'm putting you on the boat, that's already different. I see y'all low niggas on the boat. That's already different than how we do shit. And then from all the pictures they depicted, they got everybody chained down in these deplorable conditions on these boats. I'm pretty sure the niggas get to see this stuff.
Well, you don't act like they just did a walk through the boat. Well, let me see how good you're gonna treat my slave. These still were they slaves too, so they have no right at the time of being sold. They didn't
see.
But I just can't in my mind imagine. Go ahead.
That's what I'm about to say. What you just said is how I think they looked at it honestly. I think they just looked at it, hey, this is my slave. I really don't give a fuck.
And you got to look at America. I don't think America was the first stop. You got Brazil,
Yeah,
you
I
got
agree.
South America, you got the Caribbean, you got Haiti.
I'm just talking about the ship because it's Atlantic slave trade, so we know the different stops. But I'm just saying, I think personally, if I had to look at it, just some logical sense, I just think what you said, E, these my slaves too. I can do this for my tribe, my clan. Well, I'm gonna get all of this from selling you. You got to also think, even in America, in some places, people were selling their daughters for land, for farming.
Right.
So why would it be far-fetched for me to think that they didn't give a fuck to sell a slave
But
that ain't
the
even
dude
related
that
to you?
sell, hold on, let me cut you out. But the
Go
dude
ahead.
that sell his daughter don't think that you gonna lock his daughter in the basement and whip her with a whip. He's selling his daughter for a better life for his daughter and the advantages he gets, just like arranged marriage. Same thing. You can't marry my daughter if you ain't got 5 cows and 3 horses and 2 bulls.
But then that go back to the same thing when we know that people was back then beating their wives and killing their wives at a high rate back then.
Ah, you putting bullshit in the game.
Yeah, I don't believe that one. I can't go with that one.
Okay, if you think so, I'm just saying.
I can't go where they just murder, because that's my porter. I need kids. Why would I kill my porter, my baby maker? That don't even make sense to do it in mass.
This for my lineage.
But
I ain't gonna. Yeah.
What's the trouble I
But
got
I
to
ain't
go
gonna
through to
think
get
they
another? What's the trouble I got to go through to get another wife? When it took me 3 days to go goddamn 6 miles.
Look, I don't know the time.
Yeah, I had to ride on.
I gotta
the phone for
navigate.
5
I
days to get this
don't
shit.
have GPS and roadways. It wouldn't make sense to kill my resource on a regular basis.
But I'm saying, hold on, I'm not talking about on some like I just want to kill her, because we didn't sing time.
Well, what would be the reason? Why would they be doing it?
But I'm saying we got to understand that people believe that you should be able to beat your wife, right?
Why would I be looking to beat and kill my wife?
You're not looking to. That's not.
I'm saying, what's the reason?
But I'm saying, let's say she gets smart.
Yeah, but I agree with that.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
What you just finna say didn't happen back then. They were more obedient. I think you comparing today or looking at a little today.
Well, you know what? I might give you that.
It wouldn't make sense for
they weren't. They was just doing what the fuck they was told and getting their ass out the way.
I give you
and not to cut
you
off.
I need to stop cussing.
Yeah, not to cut you off, bro. The woman, it wouldn't make sense for her to get out of pocket.
You're
it
right.
wouldn't even make sense for her to get out of pocket. Where I'm gonna go?
Right.
If I get out of pocket, where I'm gonna go?
Yeah,
because everybody.
None of that. I'm my own woman shit. Then.
Yeah. They know this. Hey, that's Brother James' wife right there. What you doing over here?
Yeah.
He finna send a message. Hey, send a telegram to Mr. James. Hey, your wife out here on the west end. It don't make no sense for her to get out of pocket for him to want to knock her off.
Yeah, I give both y'all that.
Like I said, with this, it's a lot of education when it comes to slavery. And when you look at it today, from this chick calling this little boy, this is 2025. This is trickle down. This is passed down from great granddaddy to this is nothing that she said, you know what? I don't like black folks either.
Oh, I didn't finish what I was finna say.
Go ahead.
So watching this video, because I was gonna do this.
Oh, yeah, I was
gonna do this.
Yeah.
To me, it looked like a skit.
You think this ain't real?
Oh, talking about you don't think it's real?
Because I was gonna do. I'm gonna be real with you. I was gonna do the same type of shit. We was gonna run up some GoFundMes and get paid real quick.
I would leave a dope cracked open to entertain it because
like you
it's
said,
hard to see what's real and what's fake.
It's just a little black boy. What the mama didn't come to rescue. Then you got this African.
Why the little child? Yeah, you
That's
right.
why I asked that question.
Yeah,
what the parents said?
Yeah, when you got this the African sounding dude just this America. You got then she sound foreign. So you got these two foreign sounding people doing this. She holding a baby. This little black boy, he just paying too real quick on the jungle gym. But what the parents said?
Yeah, you're right.
That might be his son, because he said he tried to add, because to me there was a quick flash of the boy, so we couldn't even see really like is he American, is he African, or any of that. It was like a quick flash of the little boy, and then he's like, "You called that boy?" It could have been his son. They could have just been acting.
I would entertain that,
and that's that.
I entertain it as well. I will.
Because like I said,
let me say this: don't that show how ugly? Don't it show how ugly America is? And my guy, I gotta disagree with you wholeheartedly on your racist thing, little section you had.
Oh, you talking about my comments?
I mean,
Come out on the natural.
Yeah.
Go, which
Yeah,
part?
I mean, because yes, it's natural to want to protect those like you, your kind. We can go to your family, then your friends, and then people that look like you.
Mm-hmm.
But what these Euros have done with racists, when you say racist, that's not only are they protecting themselves, they systematically holding everybody else back. It should be, I don't got nothing to do with what you do over there. You go on about your business.
Mm-hmm.
But we gonna take care of our whites over here. But once you start putting shit in place to systematically hold that other group back, then that's when you fucking up at.
See, I think when you talk about racism, I think if given now in today's 2025, I think most people understand that there has to be a dominant one. It's always going to be a hierarchy. So to be just thinking that you could be kumbaya over here in West End, you could be kumbaya over here in on the East Side, and our paths never gonna cross. Or you might have like something over there that we need, but you don't want to share. Let's say you got some water. Let's say I got some seeds over here. Now I want to trade with you, but you said no. I got so somebody might have delivered. So it's always gonna kind of be like a hierarchy where I think a certain group of people gonna always try to keep their thumb on the other person. That way they can always control and dominate. Now you might say, I don't know what you say, but like I said, I just think it's always gonna be a hierarchy.
I agree with that. It's always gonna be a chain of command.
Yeah, I don't think it's just gonna be
anything
we all kumbaya, holding hands. I'm equal. You get 50%, I get 50%. And no, I don't think
it's called a fear of a Black Panther. Think about this African American or anybody of African descent. I'm 16. My four brothers, 14, 19, and 22. We range from 6'3" to 6'7", from 180 to 260, solid muscle, dick hanging to our knees. They know they women want that.
So you think
they know
the woman aspect too?
Well, absolutely.
We seeing it now.
We know they want that. And then it's a million of y'all. Oh, now y'all are the scientists. Let's take Shaq, Alonzo Mourning, Dwight Howard, what's my boy play? JJ, the play with Pittsburgh, Harrison, the big dude, James Harrison.
Yeah.
Let's take them off the football field and put them on the golf course, put them in the science lab. And we still gonna train them to be and put them in the UFC. Oh, it's gonna get real ugly.
See, all you gotta do, I say,
it's gonna get real ugly quick.
I'm trying to see what your point.
My point is this. Again, why do you have a 6'7", a 7-foot black man? Let's say a Shaq.
Mm-hmm.
These are the genetically dominant. In reality, I could come in here and impose my will as I want to. If I got the know-how with the weaponry, I know how to do my own weapons. I know how to fight. And I got 6 sons. And let's say I don't subscribe to what white man told me to do, which to be monogamous. I got 12 wives. Now I got 34 sons with my genes. And they all can fight.
So are you saying it's a fear of our genetic dominance that have them acting like that? That's what you're saying?
Exactly. If we finna fight, and this is 1,400 Shaq, Alonzo Mourning, Dwight Howard type motherfuckers coming down here, running fast as hell, LeBron James size, IQ level, know how to do recognizance. Oh, it's a whole nother game plan now, dog. Then white folks ain't gonna be able to do that.
I do agree that they are fearful of situations like that. But what they don't realize is we're not even on that type of time.
But they know it's in us to get on that time.
Because they know what they did to us, and they feel like the moment we get in power, we gonna reverse the roles and do to them what they did to us. But that's not in our nature.
Yeah. And the thing about that's what I just told Chris. I said that ain't even in our nature to really be like that. And you got to think about it. You still see videos, little white boy dancing and stuff. Oh, we're gonna invite him to the cookout. Oh, she invited to the cookout. Like Black people still want to have this idea, this kumbaya with a group of people that don't really want to do that with us. They don't, as a whole, white people, I don't think want to do. That's why, like I said, they move away. Then we see all these videos. As soon as a black man or black family move in, you see the white man on the porch. They say, "Oh, there go the neighborhood."
Well, yeah, I agree. It's not in us, but I'm saying they fear. Like I said, I think we're saying the same thing. they fear that it will one day be in us to where we tired of running up and down that field. We're tired of dunking that basketball. We want this now.
But like I said, they know what they did. That's why I said Mississippi burning. They cut the nigga dick off and they put abortion clinics in black neighborhoods.
Yeah, it's the fear of the Black Panther.
They said we aborted, I think, 100 million black babies. That number alone would take over.
You see it now with these NFL drafts, and who these black players coming in the draft with? White girlfriends.
White girl, yeah.
And they don't like seeing that.
And the crazy part about it's the elite ones.
The elite ones, Saquon Barkley's, the dominant ones.
Yeah,
it ain't the bench riders.
Yeah.
These the elites
of
the
bench
elites.
riders typically still have a black woman. The elite ones coming in.
Yeah,
the white girl.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes.
I heard a conspiracy that say they fucking they making their ass take them white girls.
What you mean? What you mean? What you heard about the conspiracy?
Like and you know I don't really subscribe to those, but I entertain it for the sake of the conversation. That you know the folks that sit at the round table, they know who going to the draft. And what's coming with part of this contract is a white girl on the side of it.
Oh, so you saying with that contract, they can tell them they gotta get a white girl?
Yeah.
I would entertain that too, because you look at most when you look at the divorce statistics, the black man and the white woman have the highest divorce rates out of all interracial couples.
Yeah.
So when
initiated by who though?
The white woman.
Did you see the initiated by the white woman?
So when she leave, hey, I need half. I need all them resources, and guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take it to my side, and we gonna benefit. They had the argument with Kobe when they were talking about his mom and them got to sell this and do this, but her mama and all them, or her specifically, get to get authority over all this money.
So the thing is, that means you got to even be playing on the kids too, though.
You are playing on the kids. They're leverage.
What I'm saying is, if she divorced, let's say she divorced the dude, the black guy, she got the money, but she got these mixed babies too. Now that means she got to either be instilling or some other power got to be telling them they got to get with somebody white to bring it back to whiteness or whatever. Because if they mix, now they go out here and marry and be with black people. Now,
but if you put that child in a predominantly white area, then you're gonna be attracted to white people. And you got a white mama, you a mixed child with a white mama in a predominantly white area, more than likely you're gonna date a white person.
You're gonna get the Patrick Mahomes effect. Patrick Mahomes is not a black man. He classifies as white. When you look at him, how he interact, how he talk, that is a white guy. It's not a black man.
Absolutely.
He's not gonna be in the section with the hookah and blunts. He's not gonna be over here buying the J's. He's not gonna do that. He's gonna be with a white person.
Well, like I said, I don't know. That's a crazy conspiracy theory to be like.
It is crazy. Though. I would entertain it though, to a degree.
Yeah. I mean, and then they all say, look how uniform they be. It'd be the same damn white girl, not actually the same white girl.
Basically, they got the same prototype.
Look.
Yeah.
The same look. Yeah.
I think a lot of them are programs that, hey, you see that stud on there, go to make sure you at the field house with Gatorade, motherfucking fruit. Make sure you got his book bag with socks and all this. Hang out in that gym. That's where the big dogs play.
Because RG3, because I'm thinking about RG3 wife, kind of looked like Saquon Barkley wife.
Exactly. Yeah.
He was projected to be the one. He just had on damn interest.
Yep.
It's that same type.
Yeah.
All the way through.
Same profile. Yep. You're right.
Damn.
That's a good point. We might need to look into that.
That might be a good podcast to have one day.
But we appreciate you calling in, bro. Check us out again. Like I said, we normally do these on Wednesdays, Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, but we had to kick it back today because I had to do some work yesterday.
Hey, you don't be getting my notifications on the book? He might have hung up.
Man, hung up. Okay. TD still on there?
Oh, no, I tell him to call in. He ain't call in yet.
TD jumped the gun. I said, hold on. Let her get the cooking.
Yeah, we was on 5 minutes.
Let her get the cooking this boy a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, with even that video, because I'm like, well, what the parents said? Why didn't the guy film and go to the parents and say, hey, you know, I got this on evidence. If you need me to send you this video, I can send it to you and you can make whatever report you need to. Because if she's truly harassing a young kid and as he's saying was chasing them and whatnot, that's a threat.
Yeah.
It's a child. It's an adult.
Well, she said that she called him that because he was acting like a nigga because he took he took a toy out of her baby bag. So she was upset.
I got you. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, my boy. What's good?
What's good, bro?
My brothers, what's happening?
What's happening?
Not much, man. I just wanted to piggyback and get my input on some of the stuff y'all was talking about.
All right, go ahead.
I put in the comment section, you put it on the screen, that Chris, you in the right direction. It wasn't the police department that the slave patrol became. It became the sheriff department. That's why we have 2 law enforcement.
Okay.
I don't even want to talk about that part, though. Black people ain't from Africa. We don't look like them or nothing. If white people been allegedly capturing black people for 400 years and mixed breeding with them, why we don't look like them dudes? When they come over here, our bone structure and everything. We from here. We indigenous here. Logistically speaking, if I told you you would lose 75% of your cargo, best case scenario, would you take that load? You wouldn't do it. We're from here. The Trail of Tears is really, you take a dude from Texas, you send him to South Carolina. Take a dude from Alabama, you send him to Florida. That's the Trail of Tears. They was crisscrossing us and telling us where you from. That's called Africa. They indoctrinated us with the same thing. You know what I'm saying? We are indigenous to this land, man. That's a whole nother subject. But when it comes to the guy who killed the police officer.
Hold on. I'm confused. You said white people been breeding with us for 400 years, right?
Yeah.
And you were saying what now?
He said if they was going to Africa and coming back and forth all that time, we would resemble what the African genetics resemble because they're the most dominant on the earth. We'll be.
Oh, I got you. But when you throw the white people in there, the white mixture in there,
we got a little whitewash. But
I'm just saying. So that was.
Well, we're talking about in mass.
But that was
in mass.
I get it, but
they had breeding forms.
That's what I'm saying. They had breeding forms. You got to think about probably the mulattoes that was in there from the slave owners.
They wouldn't be doing it to the capacity because it's not going to produce the same physicality I need to move these crops.
I get you.
But so exactly,
it wouldn't make the economics wouldn't make sense.
I got you.
I'm basically messing up my own dope that's pure with my genes.
Stepping on your own dope.
I'm stepping on my own dope. That's stupid. My shit already raw. Keep them motherfuckers breeding. I need that 6'6", 240, not 5'9", light skin 130.
Exactly. And then also, if you look at it this way, Europe is closer to Africa. So they was inside of Africa before they even got to America. The Moors showed them how to get here. The Moors ran Spain from 711 to 1491. Right. 1492 is when they come over here. That's historical fact. You can look it up. The Moors showed them how to get over here. You got to think about it. If their theory is true, the first day you step off a boat, you're a slave. Mm-hmm. So once you go through the auction and the whole process, then you get to the plantation. For pow, plant me a watermelon. You telling this to an African who never seen a watermelon? Wouldn't it be, as a businessman, wouldn't it be economically sound to get somebody who know how to till this ground and grow their crop? Tobacco, sugarcane, cotton, the fruits and vegetables that's indigenous to this land. It makes no sense. I'm gonna take somebody from a whole other continent who never saw these crops and make them day one slaves to till this ground versus some people who are already over here. Fair. And then another thing, it's slightly a joke, but it's true. If the Mongoloid looking Indians, if they're the indigenous people to America, why are black people the creators of soul food, the food from this land, and our food tastes better than everybody who's been over here?
So one thing about the crops, I don't think it would be that hard to teach a motherfucker to put a seed in the dirt. That's the first thing.
We should put a seed in the dirt versus knowing what season it grows in. You gotta think about it.
That wouldn't be
that type of soil too.
I get that, but I don't think that would be hard. And the reason being is because
that'd be very hard.
If you're a stranger to this land, you don't know what to do with this
land.
land.
To a land, don't know the seasons. You don't know how cold it get in the wintertime. You know how hot it get in the summertime. You know none of that.
I get all of that. My thing, Gil, it wouldn't take nothing but maybe a 2 year.
Somebody have to show you.
Yeah, somebody would have to show you, but I don't think just because
who showed them.
I just really think it could be trial and error. I really do. I don't think.
I heard you say something about 2 years.
I said
you got as a businessman, you got time to take a 2 year loss from niggas. You don't know if they're gonna get it right.
Yeah, if I'm finna have them doing it for the next 400 years, yeah, 200.
You don't, but you gambling off the first two. You don't know you're gonna do this for 400 years. You gambling. That don't make sense. I can take these people who from here and indoctrinate them something else.
Because I'm be honest with you, a lot of the stuff, if it's already growing here, all I gotta do is watch what it do when it's already growing.
Man, it ain't already growing. Them folks already.
That's what I'm saying. You
man.
said because that means you already got some seeds for a nigga when he get out the boat. If that's the case, that don't make sense. You probably will be in a field already seeing shit grow. How the seeds grow. Oh, it's hot. This shit growing while it's hot. They want to grow shit. Don't take rocket science. I don't think it would be that difficult to bring a nigga over here and teach him how to plant some shit.
It'll be more difficult than you think. And also, back to the food conversation. These niggas were the cooks too, the house niggas, off top. Why does black people food from this land, we call it soul food now, how do we have the best recipes from the indigenous fruits, vegetables, and animals from this land than any other group of people? The Native Americans ain't got soul food. We don't call their food the soul food in this country. You know why? Because they weren't here first. We were.
I don't get what you're talking about the name though.
The Indians is
how can we cook?
It's
how can we cook how can we cook the food that's from this landmass better than any other race of people?
Meaning what he's basically saying, how do I know what to do with this?
I get it, but I don't.
When I'm not from, if it'll be like me going to Beijing.
Mm-hmm.
You think I know how to cook some sweet and sour chicken better than the motherfuckers over there? I just be able to go over there.
No,
man, I know how to cook that chicken better than you. Or do they got to show me?
Because my thing is soul food is new now, or is basically new or whatever. We've been doing it, but the name terminology. But
we've been doing it before they got here, man.
But the thing is, it wouldn't take. You just perfected a recipe.
Do you think I can go to Beijing and cook some sweet and sour?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying if there was somebody was over here cooking some shit already, all I got to do is look at them cooking, and I'll just perfect the recipe. We see it all the time. You didn't cook something from a recipe and said, this would be better with this. And then somebody tastes it and say, oh, yeah, that's
the argument would be if I'm not from already over here knowing what to do with it.
But if people
exactly, that's the argument.
But I'm saying if TD saying Native Americans are already over here cooking. Let's say I'm just using it. And then I come over here and see a Native American cooking. I'm gonna perfect his recipe.
But this
okay. Then let me ask you this, Sid. What dish do they have that's similar to support your argument?
What
dishes do they have that's similar to support your argument?
I ain't never ate Indian food.
They don't Indian food. They don't be doing soul food.
I don't know. I honestly don't know because even still with white people cook dishes that we ain't the casseroles and shit like that. Like when we talk about food, it's a lot of different types of food in America. So we talk about if we just gonna stick on soul food because that's been assigned to black people. That's one thing, but it's a bunch of different foods that has been cooked in America. If that was the case, we would be able to cook all of the shit that's in America. Because you said we was the one in the but we all have been to the potlucks at the damn job and like, what the fuck you get this? Well, my grandma been making it for the last 300 years.
Okay, like, hear me out though.
Okay.
You're right. But it's only one food genre that is strictly American cuisine, and that's what they call soul food. Everything else comes from other cultures around the world. The only American cuisine that's recognized around the world is soul food. How can a black man have the American cuisine and we supposedly got brought over here after the Indians have been here and after white people infiltrated them? You telling me the last people that got here staple the food? That makes no sense.
Well,
we was here already.
Well, the thing is, from what we was told, I don't know if it's true or not. From what we told, we were just working with the scraps because you got to think about even chitlins. Niggas eat the insides. Nobody, and I've been hunting plenty of times. When you hunt, the first thing you do is cut all the shit and take the insides out for it to be light because you're not gonna even eat that. So for niggas to eat some shit, it really does kind of go inside of y'all was working with the straps that y'all was gave, so they didn't have a pig and they threw the guts out. So now niggas out here cooking the pig guts, not necessarily because you know how to cook pig guts. That most people do not eat intestines of any animal.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm saying. So when we have these conversations, and we're gonna talk about just going to the chitlin example. Nobody eats that shit. So that looks like, hey, the slave had to work with what they had to work with. Because nobody
about the slave food and the slave quarters. I'm talking about the cook to the big house. Still had to cook
I get you. But even with that, you still had to cook it, and they still had to season it and then make it a thing now. So we still eat chitlins to this day. Nobody eats chitlins.
Listen to what I'm saying. They're slaves now at that present time. So yeah, they taking the bottom of the pig and doing what they got to do with it.
But before they were slaves, they knew how to do all that shit. So when it was the cooks in the big house, the pork chops and the loins and all that, they knew how to cook that off top. Off top. You see what I'm saying?
See,
They
I
had to
can't,
resort to that once
I don't. To me, I see more evidence of white people's cooking some shit, and then black people made it better. Far as my example with chitlins, I don't see nowhere where I don't see anywhere historically where black people just came over here and was just thrown in the kitchen, or Native Americans. Because what you're saying is Native Americans was thrown in the kitchen and cooked. Because that's what you're saying. We're native to this land. So you're saying they we're indigenous. So you're saying that when they came over here, they say, "Hey, get your ass in there and cook." Well, the thing is, that'd be crazy to do that because you don't even know if you can eat that, because even in other countries, the motherfucking water, we can't even drink other waters on different countries. So it'd be crazy for me to be a white man to come here and start eating what the fuck they eating over here when in other countries you can't even drink the fucking water.
Okay, dig this. You know the word Tuscaloosa means?
No, I don't.
It means black warrior.
Okay.
You know the Tuscaloosa River, they changed the name to the Black Warrior River.
Mm-hmm.
Black warrior. Why the hell would they call a red man black warrior? He was black. Tuscaloosa was black.
Okay, but I don't understand what that means, because that we call each other black now, and we damn near the same colors that's depicted of Native Americans. So I don't.
Not really.
Because we are the Native Americans. That's what I'm saying.
You're not gonna have a land over here with Native Americans and then it come with. Let me ask you this. What you think before 1492? What you think was going? You think there was just a blank canvas, nobody over here?
I think.
What you think was going on?
I think the Native Americans had their own
black folks.
They was killing. I don't think they was black folks. But y'all say I don't think. I do think the slave trade was real. I do think we're taking niggas from over there and moving them around, and that's why we got what we got now. I do.
So you saying Native Americans and black Americans ain't the same?
I don't believe so.
You think we got Indians, which come from the word India?
No, but actually it was Native American. We just say Indian, but actually
I'm saying, but it's Indians. They say those are the Indians. You look at a book.
But we say Indians now, but you know.
Yeah, India
really?
is India.
But it was out, and
they used it from Old Buddy, which was the West Indies.
Yeah, but for the most part, Native American has been the thing.
But I'm saying,
but really, the word Indian is indoctrinated enough, because really Indian was really short for Indians. They were talking about indigenous. Yeah. See, we don't even know that part. They weren't talking about no niggas at the red dot. They were saying Indian, because they couldn't even say indigenous right. And so over time they started calling Indian, because they were saying indigenous. We was indigenous, man.
Just like
the black man, the original man on the earth.
Just like in Australia.
I don't think y'all gave me sufficient evidence to change my belief.
Well, it's not really up for us to get the evidence. Right. It's what makes sense, because what other places on earth are there? The native, if you was to Google Indian and you put them a long ponytail, teepee type shit, what other places on earth do you see those type of people?
Kind of Africa.
Every continent,
similar, right?
Every continent, the indigenous people there are black people. Every country.
The Asian, they got a thing called Asiatic black man, where you got Asians that are darker than motherfucking Shaq.
Look at them folks in the Himalayas
with slanted eyes.
They black as me.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if every place was indigenous to black people, but
you can look. This is historical fact. I'm not making this up. Every continent on this planet, the indigenous people there are jet black. So you telling me God did all that all around the world? He skipped a miracle? Makes no sense.
Makes no sense, dog.
Makes no sense.
Well,
look at the Aborigines
hold on. So scientifically, we know this one thing: climate and food always gonna change what the fuck you look like. That's a fact, right? Yeah. So we don't even know what was over here when they 500, 600 years ago that they was eating and how the climate was, because from what I hear, Africa is pretty much warm most of the time until you get to like the South Africa part of it. Now, from what I hear. So we talk about these temperatures, even in America, the temperatures change so much. And then you got to even just think about this aspect. Even when we go to different regions of America, the way we sound, our accents are different. Just even in America. So when we talk about like cooking and stuff like that, yeah, I get it. It sound cool, but I don't think that niggas just was told it was here and they was cooking soul food down here in the South. But over there in Wisconsin, you got motherfuckers making casseroles, and now we all black and like I don't know.
Okay, do me a favor then.
Yeah,
do me a favor then. When y'all in y'all show, look up Christopher Columbus captain's log, his journal that he kept.
Yeah, I know what you're gonna say. Somebody showed him how to get over here.
Christmas addicts.
Yeah. Well, I ain't talking about somebody showed him. The more showed him, that's historical fact.
Yeah.
He's talking about what he documented.
Go to what he documented. He talked about running into a red man and a Negroid man.
Okay.
He wrote this down. That means I saw some new people I ain't never seen before, and I seen some niggas who already here. Like,
so that,
bro,
that defeats your argument right there, because you just say he's seen a red man and a Negro man. So those are
that supports my argument, because that means we already here. The red man came from the Bering Strait after us. The red man culture starts with us. The old man in Mexico, they don't look like them Mongoloid looking Mexicans. They got, when them folks found them, the first head of them old Mexicans, they nicknamed them Joe Louis.
So how we get Mexicans?
You get Mexicans from the Spanish conquistadors.
How do you get them? I'm just saying, if everything was African, they black. So that means African has to look a certain type of way, right? Or
aren't Mexicans? No, I ain't say we was African. I said we was black.
What natives? I'm saying natives.
Indigenous.
Because let me say this. The reason I asked that question, because I'd have been in Mexico a couple times, and all the people look the same in Mexico. They look like motherfucking Indians. So
they Mongoloid,
or the natives that we see. So the thing,
they look Mongoloid. They got the Mongolian look.
Yeah, whatever you want to say, but yeah, they.
No, man, that's literally. You know, you got Caucasoid, Mongoloid, and Negro.
I'm agreeing, but I'm saying,
they look Mongoloid.
We got a whole country of people that all look the same.
Okay, now look.
Hold on, I won't finish. And it's connected to America. And when you look at what they talk about, the Native Americans look like, they look like the motherfucking Mexicans. So okay, go ahead.
Okay, those are the Mongoloids, right? Dig this. Have you ever seen South Americans? They don't look Mongoloid. They look black than the motherfucker. They look like light-skinned black girls. They look like brown-skinned black girls, and they look like dark-skinned black girls. They just speak Spanish.
But hold on, we was also taught that was part of the slave trade, and that's how you got the darker skinned people.
That's a lie. That's what we're saying.
Gonna tell you that. You think they populate this whole country?
Hold on. This is what I'm saying. This is all I'm saying. What y'all are saying, y'all haven't gave me sufficient enough evidence, because I can say, hey, it's a boat that went down there. Y'all said, well, that's a lie, but y'all ain't proved that no boat ever went down there. You ain't never
proved that a boat went down there either.
I ain't, but I'm just what I'm saying. Like, so we just having an argument for just argument's sake, because from what we was taught, Christopher Columbus was real, right? Y'all believe that?
Allegedly.
Oh, why you tell me to go look at his logs if now you don't know?
For the purpose of this conversation, yes.
Okay. So if that's the case, if Christopher Columbus got a book and you talking about he's seen a red man and a black man, obviously it's different types of people on this damn earth. And he supposed to be on the boat, and he supposed to be traveling, and they supposed to be conquistadors and surveying and religious people with crusaders and all this different type of people traveling all over the earth. And all of a sudden now people weren't traveling, people wouldn't have no boats, people weren't going to this land, and everybody is native to that land. Or they black.
Transporting what they saying, because the logistics don't match to where if I go from Africa with 300 black men, no sufficient food, water, clean water, how long you think would it take for that boat with no power motors to get from Africa to Americas?
Probably a couple weeks.
Okay.
No, months.
Africa, a plane flies 700 miles an hour, said.
Okay.
700 miles an hour to 3 miles an hour.
But hold on a boat, you thinking about just like a boat floating in the wind. If I got a boat and I got these slaves and they rowing and shit,
they're not rowing. They fit in the ship. They chained to the bottom of that motherfucker.
Okay.
She didn't piss on each other. Dig this though. You a business savvy dude. Both of y'all are. If I came to you and I told you, hey, I'm gonna load your boat up with this cargo. Best case scenario, you're gonna lose 75% of your cargo before it gets to its destination. What business savvy man gonna do that?
It don't fucking matter when
it does.
No, I'm finna tell you why. The reason you would take that risk, and I'm gonna tell you why, is because I'm gonna go and have breeding farms and I'm gonna get that back. The reason, and listen to me. We're playing the guy, and y'all just seen this in the dating strategy. There's a lot of niggas that go out here and they go off volume. They don't go off quality of bitches. So a lot of niggas got to talk to a lot of bitches to actually score. So me putting 300 over there, it's just making sure, because you got to.
As a business man, that don't make sense.
No, it makes plenty of sense.
I'm gonna pay for all of it, but only 25% gonna make it. Best case scenario.
Yeah.
And think about this. Think about this. Okay, let's say we drop the first load off. How many white folks get on the boat to go back to and who's staying to maintain the 300 I just bought?
They already got white people here.
The first time we came over here, if I got 300 on me, it's 50 white men, 300 black men. All right, this is our first set. All right, we got to go back and get some more. How many staying and how many get on the boat to go back to bring some more back?
But we know, it wasn't just on one boat. It was boats all together. It wasn't just one boat traveling.
Again.
Okay.
You have to get here. You just don't get on the boat and say, go that way. You have to have a map and a plan before you come over here, dog.
I agree.
So if the first boat come over here with 300 black men and I got to go back to get some more, how many stand to manage the 300 I got? And how many get on the boat to go get the next 300?
I can't answer that question.
This is a business question. This is what he's talking about.
Remember, I get it, but I can't answer that question.
Okay,
I don't know how many
that's
boats.
why I say this is why common sense come into play.
You're thinking it was just one boat.
I'm thinking common sense. If I bring
so you're just saying that when they came with only one boat,
because only so many people can fit on the boat.
Hold on, all I'm asking you.
Yeah,
you said when they brought slaves on
the first boat,
just one boat came. It wasn't multiple.
Let's say 3 boats.
Okay, so the whole
300 a boat. That's 900 folks.
Hold on. Let me say this. So you asked my question. So let's say we had one boat of slaves and the rest on the white man.
I got to bring some more back, don't it?
Okay, we got to know because hold on. Even still, when you look at depictions of plantations, you didn't have a lot of people on them plantations controlling all them slaves.
Again, we're talking about business.
Did I just lie?
Say it again.
No,
when you look at those people that's on plantations, there was a lot of slaves, and there wasn't a lot of slave owners or overseers.
Right.
Okay, that's all I'm saying. Like,
okay, but my thing is, you got to get back here, and the wear and tear on this boat. This ain't the new technology.
That's why we're gonna set up breeding farms. That's why we're gonna set up breeding farms.
So again, they would have had to have a plan on what to do with the slaves going into Haiti, dog.
I think that's part of why they had breeding farms. They knew.
So the breeding farms are already set up before they got here.
No.
So what did they have to do to get them for them to say, hey, for me to say, hey, I need a toolbox. I got to go through some type of adversity to say, hey, we need toolboxes now. When they first stepped foot on the land, first told, what was the process to say, hey, I need a breeder farm here, I need houses here, I need 50 over here, 50 over here. What did that process look like?
I'm gonna tell you, it's simple. I'm gonna tell you. You know why it's simple? Because everybody knows to get a child, you got to fuck, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got to fuck. I can get these white men to build because we already built houses in Europe. So when I get over there, it ain't gonna take me long to build no house and no shacks for these motherfuckers to be fucking in.
What's the process of me stepping my first toe on this land that I don't know about?
What you mean you say process?
As the white overseer or bringing them slave masters, I never been here before yet. How do I know at first toe to put some right here, right there, 60 here, 40 there? If this my first time being over here without no instructor.
Chris, I got
hold on. Then for your question, I'm finna say this. How would I know to do the same thing with the motherfucking Native Americans or the people that y'all say are indigenous and they don't? We don't even speak the same language. I can't come in and say, hey, I need 40 of y'all there, 60 of y'all there, 70 of y'all there. That don't even make sense. If I ain't never been here before, we're gonna go about just say, I don't even know how to tell the motherfuckers that's here to do some shit.
Again, we already was here, and they already showed the fruit and say, hey, they growing XYZ over here.
And that go back to my original point.
So it's strong.
Hold on. That go to my original point. You can't drink certain waters when you travel across the country because it's gonna make you sick. How you know you can eat this and trust this?
So why would you run off the original people and bring some new people with you to trust them with it?
Because I already know what I done grew in England. So when I come over here, I'm gonna bring the shit that I already done grew. So I can
most
tell
of this stuff is not indigenous to that land, man.
England is a dead land. England don't have the fruitful soil that America got.
Okay, so Africa.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Africa, yeah. Okay, so yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So I didn't because let's go back to historical. They said the white man was over there with the Africans for a long time.
The Moors.
You can't bring no water with you though. You can't bring no water with you. So how they knew where to drink from?
So you mean to tell me they couldn't have had nothing where they potted water? That's what you telling me right now?
Who told them?
What I'm saying is, if you run off all the indigenous people,
y'all acting like these motherfuckers just so damn stupid they don't know how to pot motherfucking water now.
No, what I'm saying is, if you got all,
if I can build a fucking boat, I can build something with some steel to pot some water, line some shit. Come on now.
If you go, why would you run off all the indigenous people who know that automatically and bring some new people with you that makes no sense. But you can just capture the indigenous people and they can do everything. It makes more sense.
Makes more sense, dog.
I get it.
Because again,
hold on.
I don't know the pot water. I don't know how to do this
So
yet.
let me say this. It don't make sense to think you're gonna meet somebody because you don't even know where you're going. You said you come here, so now when you get here, you thinking it's already indigenous people, and there's already enough indigenous people already here. See, if we're gonna talk business, let's really get into it. So I'm gonna come over here, a place that I never been. You said our first touchdown. How the fuck I would know it's ain't number 5 motherfucking indigenous?
Because they got some things called the Moors, which I already traveled the world before you thought about slavery. I already been around the world as the Moors. We already showed you this.
So you know what the Moors told Christopher Columbus come here?
No. We're saying the Moors civilized England and Europe, most of it. Those are where the most Caucasians come from. Caucasians are not born in Africa as an indigenous people. Caucasians come from the mountains, which are mostly in Europe.
Right.
So if the Moors already civilized it, that means the English got it from them to take baths and shit like that.
I don't know. And the reason I'm saying I don't know, because a lot of your Moors, and I just said this the other day, they look like they mulatto.
Because we generate every shade of blackness, dog. You got albinos in Africa. Albinos, damn near white, with blonde hair and blue eyes.
It's an island called Melanesian people, full of black people. Their whole population is light skinned. They damn near white.
Blonde hair, blue eyes.
And they black as fuck.
But you know why they got blonde hair and blue eyes? Because they already said it's because white men went over there and started fucking. That's why they got blonde hair. Look it up. I just look. When I say shit, I've already looked it up because Melanesia, I just had this argument.
You think white folks and black folks have been on this earth the same amount of time?
I don't know.
Do you think? Because we got a place called Kemet, which is Egypt, which Kemet stands for land of blackness, which what they got in books, they say.
See, I'm not arguing about Africa.
Okay, but if they say what they did was they misdated Egypt. Egypt and the pyramids been around way more than 5,000 years.
They still don't know because they use this shit called carbon dating.
But what I'm saying is they call it Kemet, which is the land of blackness, and it's been around. They want to estimate it at 5,000. When they really look into it, they looking at like 20, 30,000 years.
Yeah.
So what they got to do?
White folks and black folks ain't been on this earth at the same time for the same length of time.
I can't prove that. I don't know.
Yes, you can.
How?
Because the gene ain't been around for 6,000 years.
I'm asking you how.
Because they gene ain't been around for 6,000 years.
Okay, let's play crazy. We're talking about God, right? A high creator. We're talking about the omnipotent. When you look at the genetic spectrum, when you say Africa creates the most genetically diverse, when you look at them, they're more genetically dominant, right?
Who?
The Africans. Most, you'll say you would agree? Yeah, because they got the I forgot the tribe. The average height for this tribe is 6'4". The average.
That's South Sudan.
They got another.
No, let's go back there.
Okay, so
as the architect,
I'm just saying,
if I'm the architect, that means I'm gonna produce my best and put it in the best area first.
But who's to say?
And then I'm gonna get
is the best. Is the best for that area. That'll just be
no. We're talking about genetically dominating. When you line them up and you look at muscle mass, because they already said who really qualifies and classifies as 100% human.
Okay.
And it ain't white folks. So that means white folks is a what? Mutation, which means mutations comes afterwards. You don't get a mutation on the first go.
But that don't mean they are recessive from black though.
They are.
If
that's all I'm saying. They could be a recessive. They could be from another race of people. I don't fucking know because let's take drugs. Let's look at drugs. Hold on.
Was crack cocaine and pure cocaine at the same time?
No.
Why? And what is crack cocaine a derivative of?
Cocaine.
Pure cocaine.
Right. What they got to do with what we talking about?
So if they're talking about God, I'm making the most dominant for this land.
I don't know what God thinking.
Again, we're looking at common sense. We're not talking about that shit you keep in your back pocket, said. We know you keep that bullshit card in your back pocket.
That's not bullshit because I just literally said, this is T, did I not just say this? Africa is the most genetically diverse place. And this nigga talking about some 6'6" big niggas when they also said, hold on, no. Then they also said they got some 3'5" motherfucker tribes over there too. So when we talk
who's the dominant, the 3 foot or the 6'6"?
I don't fucking know.
If you ask 10 people,
hold on, you tell you why I don't know.
You know how you can tell. Hold on, before you go. If I ask a woman as a sports team, as a military, a police force, and 9 other fields of everything from relationships to jobs to everything. If I say I got a 3-foot motherfucker right here and a 6-foot motherfucker right here that's 240 that can lift up to 400 pounds, how many of them would pick the 3'5" versus the 6'6"?
Okay, I'm finna kill your argument right here. Let me tell you. You know why you know it's a 6'6" motherfucker?
No. I asked you a specific question.
I'm finna tell you.
I said if a woman say I want a man for mating, a sports team say I want players, a farm said I want breed. I want that answer.
Once again,
I want that answer.
I'm finna tell you why.
No. Which one are they picking? That's what I asked. I ain't asked you why nothing. I said which one would they pick? The 3'5" or the 6'6"?
In 2025, they
No. No matter what year.
No, see,
what 2025 got to do with it?
I'm finna tell you why. That's why you won't let me speak.
Okay, take the year out of it. I ain't put no year on it.
Watch.
CD, we do this all the time.
No.
Take the year out of it. I lined up 10 folks. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna ask it again because I want this exact answer. I'm lining up a woman who I'm lining up a woman who want kids, a sports team who want to play sports, a farm who wants to move heavy machinery and whatever, and everything else. Would they want the 3'5" or the 6'5"?
All right, you gonna let me answer?
It got to be a number on your answer. 3'5" or 6'5".
It's my answer. You can't tell me
3'5" or 6'5".
You can't tell me how to answer. He don't never let. He never.
Can you answer anything to a true or false question?
He never.
If I ask you a true or false question, would you say true or false?
It's not a true or false question.
I said 3'5" or 6'5". Which one would they want?
It's not because you won't let me answer because it's not
3'5" or 6'5".
It's not a cut and dry answer.
TD, I'm gonna ask you this. Let me ask TD.
Why you won't let me answer? You asked me now. You want to ask this nigga?
TD.
See, that's what I'm saying.
TD,
why he won't let me answer?
3'5" or 6'5".
Y'all see this shit? He will not let me answer.
Go ahead. If it ain't a 3'6",
no, because you ain't gonna tell me.
I'm answering you. I'm giving you the answers.
No, you're not giving me the answers. That's
if I say you want Sprite or grape Coke, what you gonna say? Pepsi?
No, that's not the answer.
If I say if you want a Sprite or grape Coke, that's all I got.
I'm gonna say
you gonna say Pepsi?
I don't want either.
See, bullshit.
Yeah.
So, you see what he do, TD?
No.
Do you want 3'5" or 6'5"? Answer them. One or the other. It's one or the other.
But let me answer the question.
3'5" or 6'5"?
That's not what. That's not the answer.
That's my question. Well, 3'5" or 6'5"?
Okay, well, you can pick what you want.
No, I'm asking you a question. 3'5" or 6'5"?
Let him go.
Because I'm telling you, he won't.
Because I'm giving you the choices.
I'm finna answer the question.
3'5" or 6'5"?
That's not. I'm not finna give you that. So we can.
You are answering my question.
I'm finna answer your question.
You're not answering mine because that's my question.
I'm finna tell you.
No, you're not finna tell me my question. No, you're not.
I'm about to answer it.
3'5" or 6'5"? That's my question. You can't tell me what my question is.
You just asked 3'5" or 6'5".
Which one is it?
I'm finna give you the answer. In 2025, you're gonna pick a 6-foot nigga. That is my answer. But if we talking about when God made these motherfuckers, you don't even know if it's 6'6" nigga over here because God made they ain't work. You just told me, hey, it take 5 days to go 6 miles. You told me it's gonna take months to come across the motherfucking water. These people don't fucking know each other. So if I see 3-foot niggas all day, this is what I think I get: 3-foot fucking niggas. If I see 6'6" niggas, then I know I get 6'6" niggas. These niggas, we know that niggas were traveling like that at this time. So if this tribe got 3-foot niggas in there, okay then.
I didn't ask that question. Okay, so you answered something I didn't answer.
But that's my answer.
How you answer something that I didn't ask?
You asked me what they would pick. I told you in 2025 they're gonna pick.
Why does the year matter?
Because you exposed to this. Because back then, like we already said, these motherfuckers ain't traveling like that. So if you see 3-foot,
all right. What about in 1995?
You still gonna pick 6-foot niggas?
All right, 1985.
You're gonna pick
1975.
I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna pick somebody that's
1985. Give me who you would pick. 1955, 65, 75, 85, 95, 2005, 2015, 2025. Would it be 3'5" or 6'5" for those 9 generations?
6 foot.
You answer my question then. That means it's the most dominant.
Let me say this, Chris.
It's not the most dominant.
Say it has said something like he don't know which one is the dominant gene because you got people all the way from the pyramids all the way to the south to these people. You do know who dominant gene. You got more people on this earth closer to 6 foot than you got to 3 foot. So that's the most dominant gene, the bigger people.
Hold on, let me tell you something. And this is scientifically, because I was fired science, so I'm gonna tell you, just because somebody is bigger does not make them dominant. Dominant gene.
Let me go get some water.
That is a fact. That is a scientific fact. Because
more of us will be pygmies then.
If something is bigger, doesn't make it dominant. That's a fact. That's scientifically factual. We can look it up.
genetically, if more people are closer to their size than their size, that means that's the dominant gene.
But dominant gene has nothing to do with the size. I'm finna look it up. We ain't gotta talk no more. Watch this.
Me and my girl ain't.
Hold on. We ain't gotta have a conversation. I'm finna look it up. I
wholeheartedly disagree with that one. You said if something is bigger, doesn't mean they're dominant?
No, I didn't say that.
That's what Chris said.
Are you saying with humans or anything?
I'm just talking about straight
now,
genetics.
Let's talk crazy.
We're talking about humans.
Okay, I thought so.
But I probably would say that too with animals too.
So the smaller lion bigger dominant than the bigger lion and the silverback gorilla?
No.
And the great white shark and the crocodile, the small ones?
You're just talking about bigger.
Yes, being the more dominant. I asked you, are we just talking about humans or animals?
I'm gonna look it up.
No. Before you look it up, I'm gonna talk to TD.
We just arguing.
While you look it up, I'm gonna have with TD. TD.
Yeah.
Why do we got when they go to the animal, when they do animal studies, why do they say this is the alpha male?
Because he's the biggest, fastest, strong.
And do they do that with gorillas, lions, tigers, and everything else? As far as mammals,
that's not always true.
If you look at sports,
that's not
why
true.
Do you think they got LeBron them playing and us watching? Because we ain't them niggas size. And I know some niggas my size who can hoop their ass off probably just as good as them, but they would get all that shit blocked because them niggas bigger, faster, and stronger.
Exactly. You saying they don't?
Y'all are looking at genetics so wrong. But I'm finna look it up real quick. Hold on.
Bro, if the pickaninnies was
I'm finna look it up. Why y'all keep arguing?
Well, we gonna wait till you look it up. We gonna have a conversation.
Why you looking up? We still can talk on it though. What I'm saying is, if the pickaninnies are the most dominant, then they would have killed off all the big ones. Like the big ones killed them off. They almost non-existent.
And one thing we know, and this is a universal law of nature. The dominant survives. That's why they got this thing called Charles Darwin saying survival of the fittest. The weakest don't survive. The weakest do not survive and the smallest don't. If there was the case, they wouldn't have all these animal experiments and their studies and say, this is the dominant male.
But that ain't true because we see motherfucking turtles survive and dinosaurs didn't.
So the strong don't survive?
What you just said, your argument is the biggest, strongest, dominant survive. I just told you a motherfucking turtle. I just told you.
Do you know how big they get in nature? Do you know how big they actually get in nature?
They get big as hell.
Bro, they in a fucking okay. So
the small turtle not dominant.
So you telling me a turtle get big as a dinosaur T-Rex? That what you telling me, TD?
No, have you ever been to
exactly?
Hold on. Let me answer. Have you ever been to what is it called? The Tennessee Aquarium?
But I seen the one they got that's 200 years old.
That you saw that? I ain't the one that's alive. Did you see that big old turtle shell when you walk in? That's thousands of years old. Got a whole skeleton when you first walk in.
I ain't been in a long time, so I don't remember.
He was thousands of years old before he died. Huge, big old skeleton. Well, it's like I guess they say he was living around dinosaurs and stuff. Huge.
My phone there. Oh, it's probably because I'm on it.
So what I'm saying is, if you put a fish in a pond, it's gonna go. If you put a fish in a swimming pool, a goldfish in a swimming pool, it'll get bigger than a goldfish in an aquarium.
Yeah, because they grow to the size of what you call it.
But exactly. So turtles in a pond ain't the same thing as turtles in the ocean. Turtles in the ocean get huge.
And this the argument. The argument is that the dominant is not the bigger. That's a lie. The dominant is the bigger and the stronger. That's a fact. Because I guarantee you, niggas ain't running up on motherfucking Shaq to fight versus a 3 foot or 5 foot. They'll be more prone to fight them. Because the dominant
it says dominant genes mean they just win over recessive. They don't say nothing about.
We're not talking about genes specifically. We're talking about size.
Okay, so the conversation was size. I will always pick somebody bigger.
Because it's dominant.
Well, you got what we saying is we might be saying it wrong. We're saying genes, but inside of genes is a subcategory called trait. So bigger, the size will be a trait.
Genetic trait.
That's what I'm saying. When y'all say genetic, when we talking about genetics and science, bigger does not mean you're genetically superior.
Trait.
So let's keep it clear because
it's way more dominant than the smaller.
Because we already know, even like especially if a person you ever dealt with dogs, you understand you can breed out certain traits in certain dogs and shit like that because some genes ain't as dominant. Hey, so that's the thing.
I'm gonna tell my about the Zap say it ahead.
Go ahead
before we get out. Tell the audience what you told me the other day about how you would beat a murder charge. Let's talk about that. Because you know something. Because you would do. Tell. Let's talk about
Why
that.
would I say this on camera?
Because this. What I'm talking about. I'm pointing out your argument.
Hold on. No, the reason I'm not gonna say that because why would I say that on camera in case some shit happened like that?
Well, not saying you would. I'm saying we'll talk off camera with TD when you get in here. But basically, I wanted to use that example to show how he argues. If you sit up and tell me that a motherfucker that's 6'5" and everybody else is under him, if the 6'5" ain't the most dominant in the room, I would say you're arguing.
So that we already
got a dominant gene because he's the biggest.
No, that's not a dominant gene. Just because you tall don't make that a dominant gene.
He would be the most dominant in the person. He would be the most dominant in the room. If I line 20 people, if I line 20 people up in a room and the tallest is 6'6" and got the most muscle mass, he's the most dominant in this group.
Dominant genes does not mean physically dominant or repressive.
That's a trait. It's a dominant trait.
That's I get it. So y'all talking about tall being bigger is a trait.
He would be the most dominant in the
room.
Out of the group.
No. Let me explain.
Out of the group said that's what we got to make sure it's in context.
Oh my God.
We got to make sure that's in context.
It ain't that fucking difficult.
It is
to explain this shit. When it comes to genetics, when y'all be talking about black people and white people, y'all always say the black people are the most dominant gene, right?
Genetically superior.
Just genetically. And the reason being y'all would say genetically superior is not necessarily because they bigger, not necessarily because they faster. The reason for one reason that their genetics is better is because even when they mate, that's why they always talk about black, you still black, quote unquote black. When you mate with somebody, that gene could run out another gene. So if this person got blue eyes and then you have a baby and the baby got brown eyes like the daddy, that gene actually won. Not it being taller. So if the daddy tall, the mama short, that baby might come out short because the mother's small gene might have actually trumped the daddy's tall gene. That's all genetics is. It's not about it being bigger and smaller. And this is just scientific shit. I don't know why y'all keep arguing. Dimples.
Okay,
Dimples. Hold on. Dimples is a recessive gene. A lot of motherfuckers don't have dimples, and we don't see a lot of people getting dimples. You know why? Because that gene, when it's bred with most people, is bred out because genes are not dimples are not a dominant gene. That's all I'm saying. Being bigger and taller does not mean you're dominant. Now, if you want to say you're dominant because you might be bigger, I would agree with that. I'm gonna be dominant over you because I'm bigger, I'm stronger and faster. Yes, but the gene, that does not mean. My brother has a child with a white woman, and this baby looked white. You would not be able to tell this baby was black at anything. You know why? Because her genes were actually dominant in that procreation. It is a simple shit that we talking about. Simple. Now, if you just say, oh, this nigga bigger, he probably gonna win. I said I agree. If you just talk about nigga just being bigger, yeah, I agree. If you talk about faster, yeah, I agree. But we talking about dominant gene because we seen a Michael Jordan and we done seen the motherfucking children he had. They ain't did shit like Michael Jordan. We see Bronny James on the motherfucking court. We talking about dominant genes, and that motherfucker ain't nowhere near LeBron. So when we talking about dominant genes, the wife's genes probably took over more because even Bronny, he's shorter than Bryce. So that's what I'm saying. When we talk about genes, we got to make sure we're talking about it the right way. If we talking about just big, you dominant because of your size, I'm gonna agree with you the wholeheartedly. I'm not gonna argue that. But genetics, that is two totally different things. Genes and being big is two totally different things.
Well, again, you into the scientific part.
That's what I said we gonna keep it scientific before I even went and looked it up.
This is what I'm looking at because that's probably what the disconnect is.
I said I agree. Did I not say if you just talk about if you just bigger than somebody? I agree.
Okay,
I'm not arguing that. But the genetic genes and traits.
But this is why I'm saying what I'm saying because that sounds good. But I'm gonna talk about it to where it makes sense. Meaning
that makes sense.
No. That's how science works. When I say make sense, mean let's apply it in real life. We can have all these scientific dichotomies and theories. It sounds good to intellectually masturbate. But when I say, hey man, you 6'5", I'm 5'10". Show me you more dominant than me. More likely a 6'5", Alonzo Mourning, Dwight Howard, gonna beat the fuck out of anybody you put in his face. All that scientific and pulling up the books and the notes, that don't mean or account for shit in the real world. Nothing. When I say show me you dominate and I dominate you.
Hold on, but words got meanings and we always
we're talking about how it applies.
Now we're talking about how it applies.
Yeah, because that's how you pick slaves. Let me pick So you telling me when I'm picking a slave, I'm picking off that science shit you said.
We ain't
I'm gonna use what you just said to pick my slaves. Huh?
We ain't talking about picking slaves like that.
That's what we talking about.
No, that's not what we say when we talk about Africa. We were not talking about no motherfucking slaves. No, we wasn't.
We've been talking about slaves
No, we wasn't.
We've been talking about slaves a motherfucking hour.
We've been talking about slaves, but when we talk about Africa, we talk about the genetically diverse shit. We weren't talking about picking no fucking slave.
We ain't talking about the slave trade in the boats.
Yes, but we were talking about picking those slaves. This is how y'all always do. We have one conversation and y'all will make a new one and then bring it back to the old one we wasn't even having.
So if we talking about the slaves and the slave trades, how we not talking about how to pick them?
So we literally said verbatim, oh, you pick a slave because they bigger, stronger, faster. Because I don't need. Yes, you did say that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go back and clip this shit because I know that's not what the fuck we said. We were talking about Africa because let me ask TD something. Let me ask TD. Your question
TD been on this line all the time.
Oh,
let me ask TD.
No, TD.
Listen to this. Listen to this. Was we talking about slave trade and coming from boats to going to South America and America? We weren't talking about that.
No, you said.
I'm asking him.
You said.
Hold on. What you say? Hold on. What you say, TD?
You said.
TD. Hold on. Let him speak. You gonna let him speak?
No, I ain't finna let us speak.
TD, why you gonna let us speak?
Because
TD, was we not talking about that?
No. So this nigga asked me. TD,
was we not talking about how they got these people over in South America and America?
Is the woman gonna pick a 3-foot nigga or a 6-foot nigga? Is the woman gonna pick a 3-foot? That's what you said. You said no slave. You said a woman. Is the woman gonna pick a 3-foot?
I said all the above.
No, you didn't.
Yes,
you
I
said
did.
the woman gonna pick a 3-foot nigga or a 6-foot nigga.
TD, what was my question? TD, did I say? I said sports, slavery, and dating. Did I not say?
No, you didn't.
Yeah, you said as a slave master, as a sports GM.
Did I say that? What I say, TD? What I say?
You said
why would TD lie for? Why would he lie for me?
As a slave trader and as a
why would he lie for me?
Because he proved our point.
Why would he lie for me right now? What he got the game?
Bro,
he ain't in the argument right now.
Don't do that.
Come on now. He do this a lot now. Just when he did that show. Come on now. You do this a lot.
You said 3-foot. A woman picking a 3-foot.
What did I say? What did I say to you?
You didn't say no sports, no none of that shit.
A slave trader and a woman.
And I said a bunch of things that fall in line. Did I not say that?
Yeah.
I know I did.
I ain't got no reason to lie. I ain't gonna lie for him. He did say that.
I know I did.
So you didn't say a woman picking a 3-foot or 6-foot.
What I say, TD? Tell me what I said exactly. Tell me what I said.
A slave trader, a sports GM,
a woman,
and then a woman,
and so many other things that a farmer that's looking to move heavy.
Now you added extra shit.
I added all that. Did I not say that?
So
at
you
first?
said a farmer too?
Yes.
You said a farmer too, TD?
Yeah, I don't know. Hold on, I'm gonna say this. I know the main three you said.
Okay.
The main.
What was my main three?
Okay. Now you just added one, but then you asking him what he said.
See what he doing?
No.
Yeah.
The main three.
What I say to you? What I say to you?
The main three he repeated was a woman, a sports GM, and a slave trader. He repeated that most of the time.
Okay.
Now he might have added some other shit in every time he repeated, but the main three.
What was the main three again?
A woman, a slave trader, and a sports GM.
And what we talking about?
Genetics.
But then why?
No.
But then why would you ask me about a motherfucking woman then?
I gave you 3 categories.
He was saying that the pick the best slaves was based off genetics.
I used them as extensions of my argument.
Yeah, you used that as a thing. He was like,
oh my God. So
he just told you what I said.
Hold on. So going forward, we use extension of arguments now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I got to make sure.
The same way you took what's called out there and had the private mean behind the door. Is provider mean the same thing for you or you when you went outside? That's the same shit you're doing now.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
How?
Yes, it is. What you mean we can't add extensions to the argument? Yes, you can. Absolutely.
I didn't add an extra extension.
When you took what's it called out there to have a private meeting, that's what you did.
You asked. I asked them
but
literally
you just telling me I ain't say what I said when he just repeated what I said.
I didn't hear you say that.
He just told you I did.
He said that's what he said. I didn't hear you say that.
But you calling him a liar.
I didn't call him a liar. I said I didn't hear him.
I said it. You heard me say it.
No, I heard you say woman. That's why I repeated woman.
I said he told you what I said verbatim.
And I said that's what he said.
Okay, then. So what you doing is what I'm saying.
What are you saying?
You talking about you ain't hear shit, but he did. How he did and you didn't?
Because I heard woman.
And we in the same room.
He just heard something different. Like I said, I don't know.
How he hear something I ain't say?
Nigga, I don't know. I didn't hear it.
TD, you ever heard somebody say something that they didn't say?
Well, hold on. As a matter of fact, TD was drunk on his last time and said, well, I don't know. I said, TD, I didn't say that. And I corrected him. So what are you talking about?
I didn't say misinterpret what you said.
I went that drunk. Don't put that out there on the internet.
But we dragging the show out. Hey, we do this all the time, y'all. Don't be alarmed. This is how we engage. It's good to have your arguments and have your firm stance. But like I said, we do this all the time, so don't be alarmed at the intensity of these arguments.
I was not that drunk.
You was drunk in a fool.
You was a little drunk, TD. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey man, fuck y'all. I love y'all.
Hey, Hey, we appreciate you for calling in and engaging with us and everybody who tuned in. We do this often. We do this online and offline. But
especially offline.
Yeah, especially offline. Say it, we goddamn. Hey, but
I want to tell y'all how I was gonna get away with murder, but I ain't gonna put that on the internet because I might have to murder somebody.
Hey, Tita, you got to hear that. All right, hey, that was a good one.
No, it's simple actually.
Hey, yeah, it is, but it's a good one.
Just let me know when to pull up. I'm drinking water next time.
But
all right, dog.
All right, bro.
So closing remarks for today's. I think we had a good back and forth. This was one of our better back and forth today. Rodney Hinton and Shiloh, what's her name? Shiloh Henderson? Shiloh Hendricks.
Yeah.
Which could possibly be a skit. I want to do some backlog into that to see what the legitimacy of that is. But as far as Rodney Hinton, and it's one other case which we have not been able to get into in depth, and that's the case in I forgot the dude was the white guy. He beat that. You know, he beat it, right?
Oh, talking about beat. Did you see Did you see Tyree Nichols?
They got out. We got to talk about that too.
Oh, man.
But the one with the high school boy who stabbed the Hispanic guy, he beat that case.
What's his name?
It's Casey and some. It's not Casey and Anthony. It's some. I forgot what it is. Hold on. Is it Casey and Anthony? I know it started with a C. Casey and Allen.
Casey and Allen.
I think it's Casey and Allen.
Stabbing.
But I think he beat that. But yo, a lot of these stories that we're seeing.
Him right here.
Let me see. With the Hispanic guy.
That white dude right there. I don't know if that's him.
But we'll get into it in depth so they can kind of see the disparity, not the disparity, but the differences in how these cases are reviewed, responded to, the narratives that are pushed. Where you got the Carmelo Anthony case still ongoing. You know how it got a little quiet.
Yeah.
Because they still ongoing. But just across the board, I just think we need to understand that some people are not calibrated to make these decisions that me and you may be able to make as far as this is my choice. I'm gonna go this route or I'm gonna take this route. Here you got a present.
I said R word. I can't say that.
Yeah. So you got a present father, but you still got a son going down this path. Because a lot of people think just because you put a daddy in the home, it alleviates the lack of resources. It alleviates the struggle. You get a little bit more structure. But if this is a problematic dad or a toxic dad, he's only gonna transfer that to the son or to the children.
Right.
So.
I agree. Because as a matter of fact, somebody, my wife's sister, friend's sister's son just got murdered. And his dad was in his life, but
in Birmingham?
No, in Troy. But supposedly his daddy was in his life too, but his daddy was a street nigga.
See?
So yeah, but we all, saying like I don't know, because then the argument would be, I don't know, we say that argument for another time. Because I about to say, would you rather have a street nigga dad or a hoe for a mama?
Yeah, see, I it's a few of those. I had the street dad because
I don't want a hoe mama.
The hoe mama is gonna come with a lot of problems. And a lot of problems are outside men that she may put that fool on. And you can argue the same thing with the street. He may bring in that element, but I think the street daddy may come with more resources, a little bit more business savvy, where, hey, they can transfer or translate that into legitimacy or to a better community or whatever.
Like Jay-Z and shit.
Yeah, like, you see that transformation. So that would be a good conversation, though.
That'd be a good one. Like I said, if y'all watch it right now, y'all make sure y'all like the video. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Make sure, hey, we do call-ins. Hey, this Saturday I got to do something. So I don't know if we're going to record Saturday.
It's on you. I got a few plans. I got a situation I got to handle, but
we got some dude to eat.
Nah. It's more like a emergency type deal.
Oh,
but yeah, it ain't nothing like that.
I'm about to say, Chris like to check out on me and go eat that Duke real quick.
Nah. I retired my jersey.
You retired your jersey?
I ain't eat shit, but they come on that plate.
If it come on the plate, she gonna put it on the plate. She ain't gonna put it.
She may put it on the platter, but not a plate.
Oh, okay. But yeah, like I said, if y'all watching, y'all make sure y'all like the video. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Y'all put in the comment section how y'all feel about these situations. We'll be back with y'all next Monday, 12 o'clock. Y'all make sure y'all tune in. We're gonna try to. I need to start making sure I post ahead of time too.
Yeah, miscellaneous Monday. We got some stuff. We got some stuff on the docket, so yeah, we'll be good.
Yeah, like I said, thank y'all for tuning in. If y'all want to support the channel, the Cash App is at the bottom. It's the New Normal Podcast, and we gone. Peace.